Tonight, a special presentation of Husker Sports, the best of Nebraska football's greatest games.
As Costa is all by his lonesome in the backfield in the shotgun. Four down lineman, middle backer showing blitz, not coming. Costa sets up in the backfield. They're going to get it for safety. Safety, Dwayne Harris, all over Frank Costa. The Huskers get a deuce.
All the big plays, all the big names.
Schlesinger and Phillips in the eye to snap the Tommy, and they give him the trap play, and it's Schlesinger inside the 5. And there for the touchdown. He's got the touchdown. It's the touchdown for Corey Schlesinger, and Nebraska takes the lead with 2:46 left to go in the ball game.
Husker Greatest Games are brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery, who have raised over $782 million, which has helped to provide more than 105,000 college scholarships, save wildlife habitats across the state, and fund new facilities at the Nebraska State Fair. The Nebraska Lottery, helping to build a better Nebraska.
Now, here's the host of Husker Sports' Greatest Games, Josh Hilkeman.
Good evening. Well, back in March, we revived our Greatest Games feature, normally reserved for 4 months in the middle of summer, but we extended it out over the past 17 weeks, bringing some of the best games in Husker sports history to you. As we hopefully approach the start of the college football season, we're going to put Greatest Games to rest for a while, but we have one more special show for you. Tonight, we go back to New Year's Day, 1995, and the Orange Bowl between the Huskers and the Miami Hurricanes. The entire season had been motivated by the mantra unfinished business for the Big Red, following their crushing defeat to Florida State in the Orange Bowl the year prior. And you had overcome plenty of adversity throughout the regular season in 1994, including injuries to quarterbacks Tommy Frazier and Brooke Behringer. But both signal callers were healthy that night, with Frazier available for the first time since late September. The matchup featured the Huskers' powerful rushing offense, #1 in the nation, against the Hurricanes' #1 scoring defense. Miami was essentially on their home field at the Orange Bowl, a stadium where they'd won 62 of their last 63 games. Let's send you to the action now, a few minutes ahead of kickoff at the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida. On the call are Kent Pavelka and Gary Saddlemeyer.
Hi again, everybody, and welcome to University of Nebraska football. From Miami, it's Orange Bowl 95, the national championship. Words become deeds is the essence of this moment. The tireless build-up about to give way to the event itself. As Nebraska nears its match with Miami for the top prize in college football, no startling revelations here. Only a few last-minute thoughts about this thing that we have concocted for ourselves, as Tom Osborne once described the phenomenon of Nebraska football. We marvel at the spectacle of it all, much more than just a game for nearly all Nebraskans and Nebraska fans throughout the country. Proud of our value systems and our heritage, we are specially bound together by this football team, which through its success symbolizes the fruits of hard work and unanimity of purpose. A football team that creates for us a sense of community, a connection with each other, an example of parochialism, if you will. This is about the human spirit, the need and desire to connect with each other through the common cause. It is about fans who somehow believe that through their support they can help the players make the blocks, make the tackles, and catch the passes. Of course, there are critics in light of all that who claim there are more noble causes waiting for such an embrace. But to those of us, and that is most of us, who are smitten, it is good. And win or lose tonight, the relationship will strengthen through the experience. Not much more to say about the X's and O's about this football game, New Year's night, 1995 in Miami. We feel, like everyone else, that the key for Nebraska is to be able to run the football tonight. I have felt all along that 17 points may well be enough to win this. Question is, can either team score that many points tonight? I think if Nebraska runs the ball, as it did before the Iowa State and Oklahoma games, Nebraska will win this football game. If the Huskers struggle on the ground as they did against the Cyclones and the Sooners, Miami may well win. I believe either team is doomed tonight if it has major turnover problems, and I believe early success will be vital for the Cornhuskers here. And finally, I believe it's going to happen for the Big Red because I believe it is meant to be. A huge capacity crowd, 74,000 plus on hand for this one, most of whom are rooting for the Miami Hurricanes, but as we've been saying, at least 15,000 here rooting on the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and most probably more. And it is a hot and humid, muggy night here in Miami. Very slight chance of some thunder showers. Not much of a chance at all. The temperature's in the lower 70s. And we are getting closer to the national championship game between top-ranked Nebraska and third-ranked Miami.
The coin toss won by the Miami Hurricanes. And they elect to defer their decision, their choice, to the start of the second half. So Nebraska says, fine, we'll take the football. Miami says, okay, we'll defend the east goal. So the Hurricanes will kick off to the Cornhuskers. And Nebraska will be moving from our left to our right, from west to east here in this Orange Bowl Stadium. It's one of the few east-west fields in the country. Nebraska has the north sideline, and that, of course, corresponds with the locker room from which they emerged over there in the northwest corner. And we are not far away from maybe one of the biggest events in the history of Nebraska football unfolding here tonight in Miami, Florida. You'll see the Cornhuskers with the ball first. And also interesting on so many levels, not only to see what game plan Tom Osborne has devised early against this superb Miami defense, but also to see how sharp Tommy Frazier looks in his first game action since he played a couple of plays back in the fourth game of the season before going out. And, of course, the rest is history with the blood clot problems in his leg and his benching, having to watch from the sideline because of those problems, and then his dramatic return to availability, at least, for the Oklahoma game, and now to live action here in the battle for the national championship tonight. The first fresh 15 minutes up on the clock. Goose eggs indicating that scores are awaited for both Nebraska and Miami as the Cornhuskers take the field now in kickoff return formation, and the Hurricanes on the east end get set to boot it away. We are about set to go. And here with the play-by-play, the voice of the Cornhuskers, Kent Pavelka.
Thank you, Gary Saddlemeyer. Nebraska gunning for its first national championship since New Year's night, 1972. The game about to unfold New Year's night, 1995, at the Orange Bowl, with Nebraska receiving the opening kick. Wind not a factor at the goal line to our left, which is the west goal. Damon Benning to the right between the goal line and the 1-yard line, and Clinton Childs to the left. Benning has returned 12 kicks for 25.7 yards per return. Childs 9 kicks for 21.1 per return. The kickoff man is Dane Pruitt, a 5'11", 211-pound junior from Birmingham, Alabama. We are ready to begin as Nebraska gets the opening kickoff. Miami lined up at its own 25-yard line. Its restraining line, the 35. Pruitt approaches the football, hits it with his right foot, end over end. It's Benning at the goal, comes out to the 5. He's to the 10. Benning out to the 15-yard line, hit down hard. And Nebraska starts this football game first and 10, 85 yards away from the Miami goal line. 15-yard return by Benning. And now Tommy Frazier out on the field, and we've got a Miami Hurricane down. Slow in getting up. The tackle on the play by Jeffrey Taylor on the kick coverage, along with Eugene Ridley. Tommy Frazier, number 15, in the ball game. Starting tonight, winning the job from Brooke Behringer. He's been on the shelf since early on in this season with blood clot problems. He's earned the starting job in Nebraska. Will run from the I-Pro set, a draw play on first down. Muhammad in motion to the left side. The draw is to Phillips, and he's out to the 20-yard line. A big pop right up the middle on the draw to Lawrence Phillips, the nation's third leading rusher. 5.5 yards almost on the carry. Make it 5 yards. Second down and 5 to go. Marvin Davis made the stop, the left side tackle.
Well, Kent, they've done one thing that has been speculated on by some Cornhusker fans. They flip-flop Wilkes and Stye. Wilkes lining up at right guard, Stye on the left side.
Stye is going to try to deal with Warren Sapp, the right tackle. The Lombardi Trophy winner, and Tommy Frazier calls timeout before the second play of the football game. He'll go over to the far sideline and talk it over with Tom Osborne. And Tommy Frazier along the far sideline on 2nd and 5 before he took the snap from center. Aaron Graham called timeout. He's talking it over with Tom Osborne.
Interesting to see the chess match as it develops here regarding the switching of Stye and Wilkes, the two offensive guards for the Cornhuskers, to different sides. Will that prompt Warren Sapp to be jumping around so he's opposite Wilkes?
I was told a spread set would be the second down play, but they have changed that up. No, they have not. They're in the spread. Tommy under center, Aaron Graham on 2nd and 5. Hands under center, Aaron Graham takes the snap. He gives to his fullback, and that is Schlesinger. Fights for a tough couple of yards off the left side. Backed up at the line of scrimmage initially at the 20-yard line, but forced his way out to the 22, and Nebraska will be looking at 3rd down and 3.5 yards to go. Kenny Holmes, outside backer on the right side, crashing down to make the stop on big Corey Schlesinger, Nebraska's 2nd leading rusher this year.
Well, no question that Tom Osborne wants his team to come out and dominate and establish itself up front between the tackles early in the ball game. Can they pound on Miami successfully?
All right, 3rd down, 3 yards to go with the Cornhuskers at their own 22-yard line. Holbein in motion right to left, trips left side for Nebraska, snap to Tommy. Bootlegs to the right off the play fake, has time, goes long, down the middle, incomplete, intended for Holbein at the 50-yard line, and Nebraska will have to punt. Holbein laid out, couldn't get to it. Frazier goes 0 for 1, and the Huskers are stopped on 3rd and 3. Malcolm Pearson on the coverage. And Nebraska now in need of a big punt by Darren Erstad. They don't want to give Miami the short field here, but they're going to get good field position, even with a great punt.
No wind to speak of tonight. Old Glory hanging limp in the east end zone.
Jamie German, the punt returner, averaging 9.1 per return. Long this year, 37. Erstad at the Cornhusker 9. Takes a step forward, hits it from the 12, end over end. Not much height. German lets it bounce, takes a Miami bounce, and finally is picked up by Corey Schlesinger, and Miami will have the good field position with which to begin its first drive. 1st and 10 at its 42-yard line. A 37-yard punt by Erstad, whose ankle is hurting.
On the 3rd down play, Tommy had plenty of time on the bootleg and bought himself a little more with his quick feet and had a shot. Holbein had an opportunity. The pass was just a bit off the mark. Holbein stretched his body out, gave it every effort, but was just out of his reach.
And so Miami over the ball. They've got it just a little to the right of the center of the field at their own 42-yard line. Opening minutes of play here in Miami. National championship games. And the quarterback Costa under center has a man in motion right to left. And the long starting count on the snap and the 5-step drop. The pocket holds. Over the middle he goes, and it is incomplete at the 49-yard line. 2nd and 10. Hurricanes at their 42. Phil Ellis on the coverage of Jonathan Harris.
Phil Ellis right there. Coverage on the quick guy coming out of the backfield. And Miami's offensive line holding up well in pass pro that time, but Costa didn't need a lot of time on that short route.
So it's 2nd down and 10 yards to go for Miami, and the Hurricanes come up over the football. Wide to the right, Chris T. Jones, Hurricanes leading receiver with 39 grabs this year. 2 wideouts right, 1 to the left, lone running back, and Costa marks out his starting count, takes the snap, takes it back on a draw, zone play left side out to the 45 and tackled at the 46-yard line. The Miami running back knocked down by Tony Veland, the free safety. It was James Stewart on the carry out to the 46 or 7-yard line. And so Miami, on its first series, also looking at 3rd down, hoping to convert on its first 3rd down situation.
But already, this is reminiscent, Ken, of the 89 and 92 Bowls in terms of the field position thing. Already Miami's got that advantage. If Nebraska can 3 and out them here, they'll still be left with a long field most likely after the punt.
3rd and 6, Miami. Their 47-yard line on the left side hash mark. The boundary left, right in front of the Miami bench. The field to the right side. And Costa is in the gun, takes the snap, no backs. 5-man rush, guns it off the left side, complete for a first down across the 45 to the Nebraska 43-yard line to A.C. Tellison. So Costa on 3rd and 6 operates in the gun and guns one complete left side, the first and 10 of this football game.
Ed Stewart on the coverage. And a very exuberant Ed Stewart, too, after he made the tackle over on the Miami bench. He had to be restrained by the officials. Wasn't trying to start anything, but the official said, just calm down, son. We don't need any chin music tonight.
Ball now between the 44 and 43 of Nebraska. 1st and 10 Miami. Trips to the right. That means 3 wideouts to the field. Tight end to the boundary left side. 1 lone running back and Costa under center. Waits for the snap from Casey Jones and has it. 3-step drop, throws it off the right side. It's complete. And the receiver hit out of bounds. Aaron Miles knocking Chris T. Jones out, but not before Jones picks up yardage to the Nebraska 35.5-yard line. And that means it'll be 2nd down and about 2 yards to go for the Canes.
Cornhuskers are going to have to start getting some heat on Costa. And they haven't been coming very much other than with that 4-man rush. And this is something that's going to be critical, I think, for Nebraska to have some success here, and that is to get Costa to at least hurry his throws.
2nd and a long, too, for Miami. Ball on the right side hash now as Miami works east to west from right to left as we watch the ball game from high on the south side of the stadium. trips left side, one lone running back. That's James Stewart. Costa under center. Nebraska with a 4-man front. Showing blitz. Costa has the snap and flags fly. There was contact just prior to the snap of the ball. Jay Ina, their right guard, came across the line of scrimmage, but we shall see if it was on the defense or on the offense. We shall see as the official, Big Ten referee Ron Winter, comes to the press box.
Dead ball. False start. Offense.
It'll cost them 5. It's now 2nd down and 7 for the Canes. You're listening to Orange Bowl 95, the national championship. First penalty of the game goes up against Miami. 2nd and 7. Nebraska's 41-yard line. Trips left to the field side. And you not showing blitz here. 4 down linemen. Backers playing back behind the line of scrimmage. Snap to Costa. The give is to Stewart. He fights across the 40. He's down to the 37-yard line. 38 or 37-yard line. Stewart with a little hole there through which to pop. And then closed in a hurry. The Cornhuskers with a nice play defensively as that play did pop to the secondary. Troy Dumas and Tony Veland combined on the tackle. And once again, Miami faces 3rd down. Their second 3rd down situation, 3rd and 5.
Interesting down. We haven't seen Miami doing anything much on the ground, and they obviously want to make their living with the passing game at least early here tonight.
Jamie German wide left. Chris T. Jones wide to the right side. Slot back left as well in motion left to right before the snap on 3rd and 4.5. Snap to Costa. 2-step drop. Over the middle he goes. It's complete inside the 25 and to the 20-yard line for a first down go the Hurricanes. Chris T. Jones on the reception, and Baron Miles a half count late in getting there.
And Ed Stewart on the blitz that time. But the Cane offensive line held up well in pass pro, which they know they have to do, because if they get heat on Costa, Frank is not going to be able to get out of it very easily, but they've given him a lot of protection tonight.
18 yards on 3rd down, second 3rd down conversion for Miami. Costa 3 for 4, throwing the ball, 35 yards in the air, and this thing has started out just like Nebraska didn't want it to. NU 3 and out, and Miami down the field to the Cornhusker 20 in the red zone. Miami over the ball. 3 wideouts left, tight end right. Lone running back is James Stewart. Costa, the quarterback, waits for the snap. Long count. NU jumps, flags, play blown dead. Christian Peter came across the line of scrimmage into the neutral zone and I think made contact.
Made contact with the center, Casey Jones. Now there's a possibility always in this situation that he was drawn, but I don't think so. We'll get the indication here officially.
Again, the referee.
Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty.
No score. First quarter, 10:23 to go. And Nebraska now at its own 15-yard line on defense. Miami 1st and 5.
Bad old situation for the Cornhuskers. They need to stiffen here to hold the Canes to at least a field goal, or the best scenario, of course, would be to get the turnover and shut them down.
Miami comes over the ball. It is put a little to the right of the center of the field. The Canes 1st and 5 at the Cornhusker 15. Their field goal kicker 13 for 14 this year. Costa with 3 wideouts left, drops back to throw, has time. Now the pocket crumbles, lets the ball go, and it's incomplete. He felt pressure and got rid of it. It's 2nd and 5 from the Cornhusker 15-yard line. Phil Ellis on the pressure of Frank Costa. Miles was on the coverage of A.C. Tellison.
Well done. The Cornhuskers will need a lot more of that, because Costa, although he is not thought to be in the class of the Torettas and Kozars and some of the great passers that have played here, he can get it done and pick you apart if he has the kind of time that he's had so far, with the exception of that play.
He does not have good feet, but he doesn't have to have good feet if his pocket holds. Miami 2nd and 5, Cornhusker 15-yard line, 10 minutes to go in the first period, no score. NU has it had it once. They were 3 and out. And with 3 receivers wide left, the give is to Stewart. Tries the right side. The Huskers play brilliant defense. A loss on the play. Stewart had nowhere to go. Tremendous pursuit led by Tony Veland. Helped out by Troy Dumas. And they will blow the play dead. Back behind the line of scrimmage. We'll see where they spot it. They bring it in from the far side. Loss on the play, so 3rd down again coming up for the Hurricanes.
Well, there's that defensive speed, and we've seen Miami and Florida State defenses chew up Nebraska's pitch and option games over the years, and the Cornhusker defense is very much in that mold as we saw there. Stewart had absolutely no opportunity around the right side, and they backed up a little bit. 3rd and 9 now for the Canes.
Loss of 4. The ball on the 19-yard line of NU on the right side hash. As Miami comes up over it, they put Chris T. Jones out wide right. Wide to the left side is Jamie German. And the lone running back again is James Stewart. Costa is underneath center. Huge 3rd down play. And Costa drops back to throw. 4-man rush, pocket holds over the middle, complete inside the 15, inside the 10. A penalty marker, and the receiver is down inside the 10 at the 9-yard line. Chris T. Jones crossing the field from right to left. Kareem Moss and Tony Veland, as well as Tyrone Williams, combined to make the stop. But let's see what the penalty's all about.
Look for a hold here.
We may have had an illegal block in the back on Miami. We shall see. I did not pick up the signal. We shall see when referee Ron Winter gives it officially and faces the press box. Apparently it's going against Miami. A big break for Nebraska.
Dennis Erickson's hot.
And now Winter, the referee, conferring once again with one of his other counterparts on the officiating crew before indicating what the penalty is. They're going to mark it way back.
That's it. Offense. A 15-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
Well, the microphone went to Fritz.
Offensive interference on Miami. 15-yarder, and that backs them up to about the 24-yard line.
The 34-yard line,
rather, and that's going to be 3rd and a ton now for Costa's Hurricanes.
They need to get it to the 10-yard line of Nebraska. They have it at the Cornhusker 34. Huge break by Nebraska on the offensive pass interference penalty against Miami. Canes over the ball. They've got 5 wideouts in, 3 left, 2 right. Costa, naked in the backfield, takes the shotgun snap. Nebraska comes with 5. Costa scrambles inside the 30, and he slides down at the 25-yard, 26-yard line. Costa had an opportunity to carry that ball further down the field, elected not to, and it's 4th down facing Miami.
Well, he picked the right 2 guys on Nebraska's defense to be chased by in that situation. As it broke, and he came up through the middle. He had Christian Peter after him, and Peter may be one of the, maybe the only guy on the Husker defense that can't close quickly on Costa.
Dane Pruitt will try a field goal. He's 13 for 14. His long is 38. This one will be a 44-yarder from the 34-yard line. Left side hash, high snap, placement. Pruitt's kick looks like it has enough on it. Is it good? It is good. With 7:54 to go, first quarter of play. Each team has had it once. Miami scores. It's 3-0 Miami.
Hey, Husker fans, I wanted to welcome you in. This is Brendan Stye. I've got Mark Gilman with me and Phil Ellis. Mark is in Montana right now, coming live from Kalispell, and Phil's coming from Grand Island. Hey, guys, welcome. How you guys doing?
Hey, good. Welcome.
Great, man. Thanks for joining me, man. This is one of those opportunities that doesn't come along a whole lot, and I think we're going to have some fun with this. So over the next couple hours, we're going to be reacting to some videos. And one of the things that I remember going into this game was the hype around their talent as far as their height and their speed and their skill. Talk a little bit about, Phil, what you thought about their offense and what problems they presented.
Well, they were explosive. You know, they had 6'3", 6'4" receivers, and Baron Miles and them guys are 5'8", 5'10". You know, they definitely have a height advantage.
Yeah, it was crazy. I know their defense, one of the things that they really excelled at was their speed. Mark, talk about, being a tight end in this game, how important it was to really focus in on the running game and take really what we did well and impose our will on them. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think going into the game, we knew that the look that we were going to give them was going to be something different than they've never seen before. With our option attack, and of course we ran it to perfection. But the thing that stands out to me in that game is going in and studying the film and looking at their 2 studs, which were Warren Sapp and Ray Lewis, and the hype around them was legitimate. Obviously, you could tell by their NFL careers that they were legit. And so there was a lot of time spent on studying their angles, the way they came off the ball. I obviously had to make sure I understood what Ray Lewis was doing the whole time. So that was, but we were excited. We couldn't wait to throw at them what we do best and see if they could react to it.
Yeah, and as the fans just watched, as far as leading into this first quarter, one of the things that we wanted to do was hit them first and hit them quick. And they had the momentum. And, for them to get on the board right away with the 3 points really was kind of a sigh of relief for us. We ended up defensively stopping them. Phil, talk about some of the plays in that first quarter. You remember some of the bigger plays that you guys had to overcome.
Well, again, we saw that play there. The 2-step drop, the quick drops and the outs and the passes, and they didn't have us on our toes, and we were blitzing, and that particular play here, Ed was blitzing and just running back picked him up nice, and, it was just a bang play and just stuff like that. It's the feel for the game. I think it was we knew what we were doing, and we're just trying to execute, but we just had to just stop them.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the things going into that game for me was really overcoming their home turf.
Yeah.
Getting over the jitters, and their fans. Of course, the Husker fans, they filled half that stadium, which was great. But I think we had a little bit of the jitters, going into the game. Mark, talk about the decision to start Brooke or to start Tommy and how that all played out.
Yeah, so I remember that debate was going back and forth, in the media, and Coach Osborne was kind of holding it close, playing his cards close to his chest. When he finally made a decision, I thought it was absolutely wonderful, because what you're doing is you have two different styles of quarterbacks, even though we kind of ran the same offense. It was a little watered down with Brooke, with a little more passing. I thought that was wonderful to kind of keep it a secret for a while. Miami's probably like, okay, they have to prepare for two. They really didn't know, are two going to play? Is it just going to be Brooke? Is it just going to be Tommy? I thought that was brilliant. I love the idea of the two quarterbacks in that game. I thought it was brilliant, and that was to our advantage, in my opinion.
Sweet. Hey, let's get back to the game. Husker fans, we'll see you in a minute.
We're listening to Nebraska versus Miami on New Year's Day, 1995. The Hurricanes just kicked a 44-yard field goal to go ahead 3-0 with just under 8 minutes left in the first quarter. Back to the Orange Bowl now with Kent Pavelka and Gary Saddlemeyer calling the action.
And Pruitt approaches the ball. Hits it at the 35-yard line, end over end and high like a punt. Underneath it at the Nebraska 3-yard line is bending to the 5, middle return to the 10. He's out to the 15-yard line, bending to the 20, and he drags people out to the 24-yard line, and a penalty marker thrown from about a mile away. That penalty marker was thrown way back at the 35-yard line over all the players. It lands at the 19-yard line. We shall see a 19-yard return by Damon Benning, and the Miami players are indicating the penalty is on Nebraska. Let's see. We're going to have a hold against Nebraska. Holding on Nebraska. So the Cornhuskers, starting their first drive at their own 15-yard line, look to have the ball at their own 20-yard line to start the second drive, but that won't be the case.
This will back him up with a hold on the return. There he goes. All the way back to the 9-yard line, 9.5 actually, where the Cornhuskers set up shop for their second possession of the game. And boy, I tell you what, the big old difference between having the ball at the 20 and back at the 10. Not only in terms of how much you have to be careful, but in what the defense can do to you.
So Nebraska comes up over the ball. Now the referee steps in and calls time. A timeout has been taken by the Miami Hurricanes. 7:47 to go. 7:47 in the first period, 3-0 Miami. And again, the matchup up front has Warren Sapp on the Miami right side defensively with Brendan Stye on the left side offensively. So Brendan will have a chance to get a piece of Warren Stye repeatedly tonight, barring Stye flipping the other way. And it is significant, too, that Brendan Holbein is in for the first two series and Reggie Ball is not. Reggie, of course, in the doghouse for a little bit of a problem, and obviously Tom Osborne elected not to start him. Now Nebraska is in an ace set here. One back, two tight ends, two flankers from its 10-yard line. They have a double screen in off this set, a new play. We shall see if they run it. Snap to Tommy, looks right. Screen pass right. It's Lawrence Phillips out to the 10-yard line. Dukes a man out to the 15, 16-yard line and knocked down hard, almost twisted in half. So a pickup of 6 yards on first down by Lawrence. Screen right side off the ace set. Marvin Davis comes over to make the play.
That's significant. The gain of 6 on first leaves you a really nice down and distance situation with 2nd and 4. And we'll see what Tom Osborne comes up with out of his bag of tricks here, but you can do a lot more on 2nd and 4 than you can on 2nd and 9.
High pro set. Clester Johnson, flanker left to the field. Wide to the right side as the split end is Riley Washington. The snap to Tommy. And the give to the fullbacker, Lawrence. He's out across the 20 to the 22-yard line, and Nebraska has its first and 10, and that was a cutback. A cutback run, and let me tell you something. Nebraska, in looking at Miami's defense, realizes how hard they come from the backside to where the play is run. And they have decided not to fight that. They will invite the rush on the backside and then have Lawrence cut back underneath it. That's what that play was all about. It's 1st and 10. Reggie Ball in there for the first time, split out wide to the right side. From the right side hash, 22-yard line, 1st and 10 NU. Tommy Frazier has Cluster in motion left to right, and it's a sweep left side, and it is Lawrence Phillips to the 25-yard line, cuts back out to the 27, 28-yard line, and tackled hard once again by Miami. And Miami player slow in getting up. That's Kenny Holmes, defensive tackle. Lawrence, another Miami player is down. Two of them slow in getting up.
Well, I've been watching the battle up in the trench there, Kent, and I don't know, maybe back in the Colorado game, the last time I've seen this kind of collisions up on the offensive line. Aaron Graham just lightning quick off that ball against those two big defensive tackles.
2nd and 4.5, Cornhuskers, their 27.5-yard line. Open set for Nebraska. Two running backs in the eye. And Tommy takes the snap, and it's a sprint draw. And off the left side is Lawrence out across the 30. He's out near the first down stick. Lawrence Phillips running hard off a zone play left side.
And we're getting our first indication of the evening from Al Makowitz that we've got a first down here.
And he's right.
Oh, all right. Yeah, this is a good omen.
Huskers digging out from their own 10-yard line. Another 1st and 10, their own 32.
Well, Nebraska, I think, Kent, this was critical because of the field position situation. That Nebraska at least get itself upfield a ways. Whether you score or not on this possession, you can't afford to leave Miami in the favorable field position all night long.
1st and 10, Nebraska, left side, hash field right, boundary left. Moving left to right, the Huskers behind 3-0, 5:40 left in the first, and Cluster in motion, right to left. In an option play, the first one of the night, and Tommy turns the corner across the 35 and plows forward to the 40-yard line. Tommy Frazier, A-OK on the option, electing not to pitch to Phillips, but ran it himself. And the Huskers with a pickup of 8 yards on that first down play. James Burgess, one of the inside backers, made the tackle, but Nebraska's starting to click, thank you.
Well, Kent, you've got it. You mentioned the strategy here, and it's working very well. The Cornhuskers have just decided to let Sapp primarily charge upfield a couple of yards, create that pile, and then work around that pile with the cutbacks over on the right side.
The ace set again, one back. I believe that's Lawrence. No, it's not. It's Clinton Childs in the game, and the give is to Clinton. Tries the middle, fights his way forward for maybe a yard. That's it, then driven backwards. Clinton Childs out beyond the 41, cut down short of the 42. Nebraska needs to get the ball out just beyond the 42-yard line, and Clinton on that carry coming in for Lawrence Phillips, who was out for one snap. We'll find out what the problem was there when we get a report from the sideline, because Lawrence is back in after just missing one play.
I doubt a problem. Can't probably just maybe an equipment adjustment or maybe a breather for one play, but he's back on the field.
3rd down, 1 yard to go, Nebraska. Cornhusker 41-yard line, and here's another new look for Miami for the first time, the double tight end, full house backfield. Tommy under center, takes the snap, turns, runs an option play, penetration, and he is hammered for a loss back at the Nebraska 35-yard line, but a flag on the far side of the field. It was Marlon Barnes knocking down Tommy Frazier, who's a little slow in getting up. And Tommy indicating the penalty is on Miami.
Yeah, encroachment. They were in the neutral zone and the ball was snapped.
And Warren Sapp is going into his act, complaining.
Yep.
It doesn't matter, Warren. It's a 1st and 10 for Nebraska on the dead ball foul.
First down, Cornhuskers. You know, Zach and Warren got pretty well acquainted on the awards and banquet circuit here during December, and as Warren was doing his deal down there, complaining about that, Zach was kind of sauntering alongside him, and he probably whispered something sweet in his ear about how, never mind, Warren, we got that one.
Huskers moving the ball from their 10-yard line. 1st and 10, their own 46, perhaps setting up Miami for something deep, because they've been effective running the ball between the tackles and on the option play on this series. And Tommy takes the snap and gives to his tailback, and that's Lawrence. Big hole up the middle, across the 50 to the 46-yard line of Miami. Huge chunks on this drive by Nebraska. Burgess made the stop, but things are opening for the Big Red. Lawrence, who struggled the last 2 ball games, 50 yards and 21 carries against Oklahoma. Actually, just the last game already, 29 yards on 5 carries. And so Nebraska's over the ball on 2nd down, 3.5 yards to go at the 47-yard line of Miami. High pro set, flanker right, or split end right is Reggie Ball. Flanker left is Cluster, who comes in motion, and Tommy on an option. He gave it off to his fullback, and that's Schlesinger. He broke free. Schlesinger down to the 41-yard line of the Miami Hurricanes. Another 1st down for the Cornhuskers. The quick pop, the trap play, Schlesinger at 234 pounds. The number 2 rusher on this football team pops it up the middle for the 1st and 10. Nebraska's got it at the 41-yard line of the Hurricanes.
Great job of ball handling there by Tommy Frazier. He had the Hurricanes, or about 3 or 4 of them anyway, pulled long after Schlesinger had the ball. And, of course, Corey just kept those legs churning when it looked like he was in the middle of a pile and would be stopped. He emerged and got upfield for the first down.
I'd still say Nebraska's setting up Miami for a big play over the top, but why run one as long as you're making yardage the way you are right now? Under center, Tommy in the A set takes the snap, option right, pulls back the throw out of it, goes long. He's got Abdul between double coverage. It's intercepted. Intercepted by Miami inside the 5-yard line. Tommy Frazier throwing into double coverage. Carlos Jones made the reception. Out leaped Abdul Muhammad for the ball.
Well, I'll tell you something. That's a bad break for the Cornhuskers, but 2 things are indisputable. The field position complexion of this game has been changed, and the Hurricanes have been given something to think about offensively.
Still say Nebraska's setting up Miami for a big play over the top, but why run one as long as you're making yardage the way you are right now? Under center, Tommy in the A set takes the snap, option right, pulls back the throw out of it, goes long. He's got Abdul between double coverage. It's intercepted. Intercepted by Miami inside the 5-yard line.
Helmet off. Takes his helmet off.
I know that. So that was the rule back then. There was no rule. They could take their helmets off. And Florida State was known for that. Miami as well, probably even worse. Phil, this is what's incredible. And Mark, about this game, Husker fans, there were 7 turnovers in this game. Yeah. And I remember, of course, I went on to play in the NFL. I didn't go back and watch that game for quite a few years until somebody was telling me that Warren Sapp was talking smack again somewhere along the way. But no big surprise there. But 7 turnovers, that's crazy. Both teams, right? So we had, I think, 4, and they had 3. Right there, again, Brooke, one of the things that he did well was throw the football, and I think he was pressing a little bit there. Mark, tell us a little bit about your thoughts as far as the turnovers go.
Well, first of all, you have to look at the 2 defenses that are playing in this game. Okay, so all the hype was around Miami's defense with their big names, but then you come over to the defensive side for Nebraska, and they didn't realize that. I think the secondary and the linebackers all ran 4.4s. That's the year that we played primarily dime, and I think that Phil can correct me if I'm wrong. I think Phil was probably the slowest defensive player and
what's up, man?
I think he ran a 4.6, right? Phil,
right.
So turnover.
They protected me on the inside.
But Phil was a fast middle linebacker, right? So our secondary is 4.4. Phil's 4.4. Our Mike is a 4.7. Our Will, our Sam are all 4.4s, right? The turnovers didn't surprise me at all due to the fact we had fast defenses on both sides. Final score was what, 24-17? That's low scoring. That's defense. So it didn't surprise me. And technically, probably, I don't think it would surprise anybody else on the turnovers.
What do you think about that, Phil?
Yeah, no, I agree. We, again, my job was to tackle. So we had great guys in front of me, and they kept me clean a lot. But there was a lot of passing in that game. And I was the skinny one. So yeah, I run down and try to help out deep whenever I could. So, but yeah, some of those tackles I was making was 15, 20 yards down the field too, just playing catch up. But again, they're fast receivers, and we were just. Stay in front of them. I think that was our goal.
One of the things that Miami presented a lot of speed, but what they didn't do was present as far as schematic and pressure, as far as blitzes and stunts and stuff like that. When I watch our defense, that was what we were really good at. We were bringing pressure all the time. Coach McBride wasn't afraid to bring the blitz and run stunts and create opportunities for the defense. You saw a little bit in that first segment with Ed coming on the blitz. Talk about the game plan going in, Phil, for you guys defensively. What did you guys want to do?
Yeah, you see me up in the line a lot. Me and Doug were up in the line. They didn't know if I was coming, and Ed was coming, or Dumas, if he was coming. So Coach Steele, designed them packages, and he's still coaching today and killing it over in Auburn. So he was kind of a mad genius, he with McBride and him, and I think he was calling the plays, I think, at that time. But it was fun. So we just mix it up, keep them up in line, and they just didn't know when what we were doing, and I think at the end it kind of helped.
Really, they had no threat with their quarterback running the football. Costa was not that great of an athlete. They had a really good running back in James Stewart, but he was kind of young, still coming into his own, right? So really the threat from them offensively was their receiving core, right?
Mm-hmm.
You alluded to that a little bit. So, Mark, let's flip it over. Going into this second quarter, I know some things had to happen for us. They get the lead. It's 10-0. All of a sudden, we're sitting on the sideline as an offense looking at each other saying, hey, man, we got to talk about a little bit what the fans are going to see here in the next segment.
Okay, you broke up there real quick, Brendan. What was the question?
Problem. So to talk about the momentum that Miami had, and really the pressure's on for us, right? I mean, it's 10-0. We got to make something happen. No more turnovers. Let's go and do it. What are the fans going to see next?
Well, I'm thinking it's going to be a touchdown by Nebraska and by a very talented, handsome, fast tight end.
Awesome.
It's going to be fun to watch. I can't wait. But no, you're so right. And we needed to score. We had to get on the board. We hadn't won a bowl game in how many years? I think it was 4 years straight, right?
Yeah.
So we had to change the momentum, and we were on the sideline, and we knew what we had to do.
All right, great. Well, let's cut to the game, and we'll get back at you, Husker fans.
We continue along with our replay of the 1995 Orange Bowl, Nebraska versus Miami. The Hurricanes have a 3-0 lead, and they just forced an NU turnover. Back to the action now with Kent Pavelka and Gary Saddlemeyer on the call.
Miami comes over the ball. 1st and 10. Ball between their 2 and 3 yard line, left side hash mark. Costa, the quarterback. James Stewart, the lone running back. Chris T. Jones wide left. They've got 2 tight ends in there in their version of the ace set. Costa waiting for the snap. Takes it, turns, gives to Stewart. Left tackle goes nowhere, absolutely nowhere. The Huskers right there defensively. That big defensive front would not be blocked. Keneally, Peter, Dante Jones, all there, and it is 2nd down and 10 yards to go. And the Huskers will, if they can turn Miami back without a first down here, get a great advantage in terms of field position.
Terwilliger in there that time at a linebacker spot. Coleman also up front, and he's pretty much interchangeable, of course, with Phil Ellis in the middle there.
I like the way this game is turning, even though Nebraska's behind with 13 minutes gone, 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, behind 3-0. Defense stuffed Miami on that first down play. They got 2 wideouts to the right, 1 to the left. Lone running back again is Stewart. Costa under center from the 2, turns, play fake, wants to throw, pocket holds, goes long, it's complete. NU playing soft, and the tackle made at the 20-yard line of Jamie German. The tackle out there, I believe, by Tyrone Williams again. But he gave him a lot of cushion on that play. And Miami, with a huge conversion for a first down, now has some breathing room at its own 20-yard line, 1st and 10. Ball on the right side hash mark as Costa gets the play from the sideline, brought in by tight end Gerard Daphnis, as Costa now is 4 for 6, throwing it 51 yards.
Now Baron Miles over there in that corner, Kent, very soft in coverage that time, a concession maybe to the tremendous speed.
So Miami over the ball. 1st and 10, ahead 3-0. A minute 25 to go in the first. Costa takes the snap, turns, play fake, wants to throw, pocket holds again, goes long. Man has a step, jump ball. It's complete inside the 40. And down to the 36-yard line in Nebraska goes A.C. Tellison. And we just saw what the pundits suggested might happen. The big, rangy Miami receivers. Tellison going 6'4" and 212 pounds in a jump ball situation with Nebraska's smaller DBs. It was Williams and Miles on the coverage, but a great grab by Tellison as Costa went downtown with it. And Miami has changed the field here. 1st and 10, their 37-yard line of Nebraska. A minute and 9 to go in the first quarter. Miami over the ball with 3 wideouts left side. Ball a little to the right of the center of the field. Miami working right to left, east to west. Costa under center, Stewart behind him, 3 steps, gives to Stewart. Stewart cuts off right side, broke a tackle, penetrates the 35 and down to the 34-yard line maybe.
Stewart, ball carrier.
And so that thing looked like it might pop, but again, good pursuit to the ball by Stewart, Coleman, and Dumas. As James Stewart, the running back, looked like he might have some running room off the flank right side. Gained only 2, though, 2nd and 8.
Well, these Canes can really stretch you out, of course, when they go into almost what amounts to a run-and-shoot set at times, Kent, and they get these guys with a great speed, finding the seams in behind the linebackers and up in front of the secondary, which they got on the big gator.
3 wide outs to the left side again. The split is Chris T. Jones. Jamie German, one of the slot backs. Costa on 2nd and 8 from the Cornhusker 35. takes the snap. NU comes on a twist. Screenplay left side, complete inside the 35, inside the 30, 25, 20, 15, inside the 10, the 5. A touchdown. Trent Jones, touchdown, Miami. So on 2nd and 8, Miami with 3 wide outs left side runs a pick play. I hope they show you the replay here. They ran a pick off the left side. One Nebraska DB fell down. And Miami really answers the bell after being pinned inside its 5-yard line. They bring it all the way down the field on a 97-yard drive in 5 plays. 2 runs, 3 passes. We saw no replay. And the PAT coming up by Dane Pruitt. It's up, and it is through there, and the Miami Hurricanes, with 4 seconds left in the first quarter, have opened up a 10-0 lead on the top-ranked Cornhuskers.
Jones coming out of the backfield. And with tremendous speed, and after he got a hold of the football, he was able to race to the corner and get in for the 6.
Miami with 143 yards in total offense. The Huskers with 51.
Brooke Behringer warming up on the sideline.
There's the replay. There's Eddie. He just missed the tackle.
And we'll see if Brooke gets his shot on this series. We know that he'll see action here tonight and probably fairly early in the game.
Here we go. Dane Pruitt to kick it off. 10-zip Miami. Pruitt approaches it, hits it. Low kick. Almost a squib. Bounces at the 17 into the hands of Benning at the 8-yard line to the 10-15. He's out to the 20. Benning 25 and fights his way forward out to the 29-yard line. Nebraska will have it 1st and 10. Let's see who comes in at quarterback now. 22-yard return, and it is Brooke Behringer. Behringer, the 6'4", 210-pound junior who guided Nebraska to 7 straight wins when Tommy was on the shelf. Threw a couple of interceptions in the scrimmage here, and that allowed Tommy to earn the starting job. And when the second quarter begins, Behringer will be at the controls. 1st and 10, Nebraska at their own 29.5-yard line behind 10-0. So Miami over the ball. 1st and 10, ahead 3-0. A bit 25 to go in the first. Got to take the snap, turns, play fake, wants to throw, pocket once again, goes long, and has a step, jump ball, and complete inside the 40, and down to the 36-yard line. Nebraska goes A.C. Ellison. And we just saw what the pundits suggested might happen. The big, rangy Miami receivers. Ellison going 6'4", and 212 pounds in a jump ball situation with Nebraska smaller DBs.
Yeah, that wasn't that great of a pass.
35. Takes the snap. NU comes on a twist. Screenplay left side complete inside 35, inside the 30, 25, 20, 15, inside the 10, the 5. Touchdown.
3 missed tackles there. Ed Stewart probably should have had that tackle. He hesitated a little bit, but
yeah.
It was,
So one of the things in this game that really stands out is the big plays on both sides. In the first half, it seemed like Miami had a couple big plays that we had to overcome. But, the toughest thing playing against Nebraska was that we were never going to give up. We were a 4-quarter team. We were conditioned. We practiced like we were playing all the time. I don't know that we ever panicked in that situation. Defensively, I know you guys didn't. And what was crazy was, even though they had that momentum, we knew that we were going to be back in the game. When you look back, 25 years later, and you watch this game, both you guys, how did you feel after you watched the game after playing it? Because I know I had my own opinion, but Phil, what did you think about the game overall?
It was kind of a blur. It was just, it was just such a good tight game, and and I tell people it was always my favorite, national championship because it was so close and hard fought, and it was, their turf. We've been to the Orange Bowl 4 times in a row, and so we were getting more comfortable there, I think. But yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was a fun game to play.
Phil and I did have one more year after this, so we actually watched with Coach Ron Brown the game. And, I didn't do very good in a couple plays, according to Ron, including the touchdown I caught. He graded me down because I fell down. You're going to see it a little bit later. So we had a different perspective than you, Sty. You were, Brendan, you were getting ready for the NFL. So you probably, like you said, watched it a time later. Phil, I don't know when you watched it, but we watched it like right away. And I got graded down in a bunch of plays, so I was frustrated.
I think it was Matt Shaw that got that touchdown first, and then you took it over. I don't know how.
You know, though, that didn't bother me, and people will see it pretty soon. They're going to play the play, and the announcer did say Matt Shaw, and it was actually me who caught the pass. But you know what? I was happy for Matt Shaw for that 5 minutes of glory, because that guy never missed a practice his whole 5-year career there, including his redshirt year. He worked his butt off. And you know what? He got some glory for maybe catching that pass, although it was me, so I was fine with that.
So I didn't watch it for a few years, to be honest with you. I just never had time, and I never had the cut up. And back then it was different technology. You had to grab a videotape of it. And so when I finally got to watch it, what really threw me for a loop was the turnovers. I did not remember all those turnovers. I just remember, like you said, Phil, it was like a blur, right?
Yeah, I
remember being very tired. Yeah. So it was, for me, it was like it brought back all that emotional memory of winning the football game. And then before the game, going into some of the things that we did to mentally get ready for the game, not only watching film, but also kind of going through some mental exercises and doing some real visual kind of mental work before the game was really important for me. I remember. So
I was going to add,
we're gonna head back into this game. Let's check it out.
Tonight we're listening back to Nebraska's January 1st, 1995 matchup with the Miami Hurricanes at the Orange Bowl. We're through one quarter of play with the Canes up 10-0. With more play-by-play, here are Kent Pavelka and Gary Saddlemeyer.
Brooke Behringer in there for Tommy Frazier at quarterback. 10-0 Miami. Second quarter about to unfold. In the open set, Nebraska. Brooke gives it on a counter sweep, and it is Lawrence behind Wiegert, up beyond the 35, the 40, and he bolts forward to the 45-yard line. Lawrence Phillips. Counter sweep left from the 30 out to the 44-yard line. A pickup of 14 yards by Phillips. Marlon Barnes made the stop. And so the Huskers out near midfield, and into the ball game comes Matt Shaw and Abdul Muhammad with a play from Tom Osborne. Well, Huskers with the ball on the left side hash. Boundary left field to the right. Quickly over the ball. Reggie Ball split end left side. Flanker to the right is Abdul Muhammad. High pro set. Brooke under center takes the snap. And it's a give up the middle, and again across the 45 to the 46-yard line goes the tailback Lawrence Phillips for short yardage. So Phillips trying the middle and finding little success on first down. Dwayne Johnson, nose tackle, played it tough.
Well, it was on a big counter sweep for the first down that everybody in the country got a good look at old Zach Wiegert out there, the Outland Trophy winning offensive tackle. He didn't get a pancake on the strong safety Pearson, but he nudged him upfield about 3 or 4 yards, and Pearson, to his credit, came back to make the play. But old Zach showed his speed on that one.
6 carries, 44 yards. Lawrence Phillips, 2nd and 9, Nebraska. The ball between the 45 and 46 of NU. They've got tight end left. This is an ace trip set. 3 receivers to the right side and an option to the short side of the field, and Brooke on the carry slips and falls at the 47-yard line. Brooke trying to cut outside. You could see noticeably slipping on the turf, and Ray Lewis covered him. And so Nebraska looking at 3rd and long. NU needs to get the ball to the Miami 44.5, 46-yard line between the 46 and 45. And the Cornhuskers have it. They bring the ball in from the near side and position it between right around the 47, I believe.
Well, Ken, I was down there. That's exactly where that field is the most devoid of grass, and that's where you got to make those sharp cuts on the option.
Huge third down play for Nebraska, trailing 10-0. Eric Alford, tight end shift, left to right. NU in an open set again, in motion is Abdul Muhammad toward the set, and Brooke on a play fake, wants to throw in trouble. Brooke Behringer is sacked for a big loss back inside the 40-yard line. And it is Warren Sapp who got to it. And so the Cornhuskers lose yardage on 3rd and 7, and will have to punt the ball away. Darren Erstad in the ball game to punt it for the Cornhuskers. Jamie German will be in a single safety.
Well, Warren Sapp, for all his running of his mouth and his gesticulations, you've got to hand it to him. He is the real deal, and he got in there so quick and just got a hold of an ankle that he wouldn't let go, and Behringer had to go down.
Aaron Graham long snap, and it is Erstad hitting a rocket from the 25-yard line high. Underneath it, and taking a great Nebraska bounce inside the 15-yard line, inside the 10-yard line, and down at the 9. And so Erstad gets off a great punt and a tremendous bounce and roll after the punt. A 46-yarder in Miami, deep in its own territory, gets the ball back, leading it 10-0.
Nebraska's offense still unable to get anything going. We'll have to wait until next hour to find out if they can turn things around, though, as we pause here at the end of Hour 1. A reminder to go check out huskersports.tv for extra commentary on the game from Brendan Stye, Phil Ellis, and Mark Gilman during breaks throughout the show tonight.
Set and Brooke on a play fake, wants to throw and bubble. Brooke Barringer is sacked for the loss, back inside the 40-yard line.
Yeah, old Sappy, man, he had a way with words, didn't he? The one thing about Warren, I can tell you this, like you said, Mark, earlier, validated. His play on the field was incredible. You watch film after film in college, he was embarrassing guys left and right. Unfortunately, maybe fortunately for me, the next 9 years of my football career, I basically played him every year. And so, he and I reminded each other of some things all the time, and you can't take away how great that guy was. And not only Warren Sapp, but that whole defense. You mentioned Ray Lewis. Ray was a freshman in that game. Bernard Lang, they had.
What about The Rock? He had The Rock.
Rock, Dwayne Johnson, Marley. They were loaded. I mean, and then on the other side, they had some guys that went on and played in the NFL as well. So they were very talented, and I always talk about the skill level, a very high skill level of that offense and that defense in particular.
So one of the things that – Go ahead, Phil.
I mean, as it should be. I mean, we were playing for the national championship, so there wasn't a bunch of scrubs on the team by any means.
Right.
So what I noticed about the game, especially that play we just watched. So if you watch that game early on, Miami was showing their speed and their athleticism. And I mean, it was something that we really hadn't seen all year. We played some great teams, but their speed and athleticism and overall skill was on display. If you watch that game early on, then as the game goes on, and I'm sure we'll talk about some more about Tom Osborne and some of the things that he told us to get ready for, things sort of changed. They got a little tired, and you can see where we imposed our will on them. And I would argue that the Nebraska defense, if you watch the entire game, and Phil, you probably agree, I didn't see you guys fatiguing at all. Matter of fact, you guys looked the same in the first quarter as you did in the fourth, and I believe that is because of the hard work and the conditioning that we put in year-round during that time.
Yeah, if I could add something to that, we had a 1-1A in a lot of positions. So, there was also, we were keeping each other fresh, subbing out and back and forth. I mean, I just like to put me and Doug in there, and Terry and Jason Peter and Christian Peter. Sorry, my phone's ringing.
Yeah, no worries. One of the things for us on offense that was different was up front, we had played, I was a right guard, right tackle all season long. Joel was a left guard, and Joel Wilkes was left guard, Rob Zatchka was left tackle. For that game, specifically, it was about 3 weeks before, the bowl game, I had moved from right guard to left guard.
Yep.
And to me, at the beginning of that game, it felt like we were out of rhythm of sorts. And if you talk to Rob Zatchka, he'd tell you the same thing. Matter of fact, he'd probably tell you it was his worst game ever because he wasn't used to playing next to me.
That's right.
So there was some, like you said, there was some getting used to their speed as well as playing together, because it's one thing to practice together, but playing together is totally different.
Yes.
And so there was some adjusting, I think, from us on that side as well. But it was genius. And as we go through the game, we'll talk a little bit more. But let's go into the second quarter here and see what the fans are going to be looking at.
Tonight, a special presentation of Husker Sports, the best of Nebraska football's greatest games.
As Costa is all by his lonesome in the backfield in the shotgun. 4 down linemen, middle backer showing blitz, not coming. Costa sets up in the backfield. They're going to get it for safety. Safety to Wayne Harris. All over Frank Costa. The Huskers get a deuce.
All the big plays, all the big names.
Schlesinger and Phillips in the eye to snap to Tommy, and they give him the trap play, and it's Schlesinger inside the 5. In there for the touchdown. He's got the touchdown. It's the touchdown for Corey Schlesinger, and Nebraska takes the lead with 2:46 left to go in the ball game.
Husker Greatest Games are brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery, who have raised over $782 million, which has helped to provide more than 105,000 college scholarships, save wildlife habitats across the state, and fund new facilities at the Nebraska State Fair. The Nebraska Lottery, helping to build a better Nebraska.
Now, here's the host of Husker Sports' Greatest Games, Josh Hilkeman.
We jump into hour 2 of tonight's show, our final edition of Greatest Games for the summer, and boy, is it a doozy. The 1995 Orange Bowl between Nebraska and Miami. When we left you at the end of hour 1, the Hurricanes held a commanding 10-0 lead, and they just got the ball back after a Husker punt. That's where we pick up the action. Early in the second quarter, and Miami with the ball. Calling the action are Kent Pavelka and Gary Saddlemeyer.
1st and 10 Miami. They're short, just shy of their 10-yard line. Costa under center, takes the snap, turns, gives to Stewart, breaks out across the 15, cuts back 20, out to the 24-yard line. Goes the tailback, James Stewart, looking like Lawrence Phillips running the football. Eddie Stewart on the tackle, and Miami crawls out of a hole on 1st and 10 from its own 10. And they've got it just shy of their own 24.
But we saw something there, Kent, with Stewart's tackle that we wouldn't have seen in some years, and that's Nebraska inside linebackers running down a back like that. We used to see Miami do that to us, but Stewart got him from behind.
So Miami over the ball, 10-0 Hurricanes, 3 minutes gone, second quarter. 2 wideouts left, 1 to the right, motion to the left by the 1 wideout right, making trips set left side, and Costa drops to throw, back pocket holds, fade pattern deep to Tellison. He catches the ball, but we're going to have interference call. Kareem Moss on the play. It may be offensive pass interference too. It is offensive pass interference.
This is the previous spot.
So the Huskers, I won't say fortunate because that's obviously what happened, but fortunate in that Miami is backed up toward its own goal line. Miami penalized 4 times for 41 yards.
Well, nice play on the coverage by Moss, not only in covering the receiver, but he batted the ball loose after Tellison had come up with the catch.
Yeah, Tellison smacked him in the head with his open hand right as the ball arrived to push him away. And so a 15-yard penalty against Miami backs them up to their own 12-yard line. Chris T. Jones wide left, Jamie German wide left. One lone running back, and that is James Stewart. And Costa takes the snap and drops, and it's a draw play, and Stewart broke it out across the 15, changes hands, and was run down at the 15-yard line by Kareem Moss coming in on run support. So the Cornhuskers quick to the ball, although that looked like that might go for a lot. Moss came in to close it down, and it's going to be 2nd down and long. Coleman also in on the play. And Coleman goes out of the ball game. Coming in is Phil Ellis.
Coleman in on the blitz that time, and a tremendous play, the second one in a row by the strong safety or rover Kareem Moss, who, as you said, Ken, it looked like James Stewart was about to head for the hills, and Moss closed so quickly and dropped him after only a 3-yard gain and leaving the Canes in a 2nd and 19.
Huskers need 2 defensive plays and the ball back and to get and do something with it here to turn the momentum around. 2nd and 19 for the Canes from their 15-yard line. 3 wideouts right side. Costa, the quarterback, looking at a 6-man Husker front. 7 are coming. Over the middle, he throws it incomplete, and he saw and felt that heat big time. It's 3rd down and 19.
Boy, he sure did. Eddie Stewart in there in a big hurry from his weak side linebacker spot, and I don't think the receiver out of the backfield was ready for that throw. It sailed right past his face mask. Incomplete. 3rd and 19 now for the Canes. Big defensive play here for the Cornhuskers.
Costa 6 for 9, throwing the ball. And they put one of their speed merchants in now, Jonathan Harris, number 3, little guy, 5'9", 170 pounds. And they take out the tailback, Stewart. It'll be a no-back set, I would guess, and it will be. And in the gun is Frank Costa. 3 wideouts right, 2 to the left. They spread the field. Townsend and Peter are the down linemen, and the flag flies here. The umpire coming in, throwing a flag before the snap. May have had procedure. May have had a procedure penalty against Miami. We'll see.
Good ball. Full start. Offense.
Cost them 5 more.
5-yard penalty. Down.
Move the ball back from the 15-yard line back to the 10. So Miami over the ball again, ahead 10-0. We've played 4 minutes in the second quarter. Miami again. 3 wideouts right, 2 to the left. Gun is Costa. Screen pass right, complete to the 10. And the receiver hit and broke away, hit and broke away, hit and nailed. At the 11-yard line, Jamie German knocked down. He was bouncing around like a pinball, and Grant Wistrom finally leveled him, and Miami will have to punt the ball.
Bet him head on. Very emotional play. Emotional reaction to the play by Wistrom. He's calling for more noise from the Cornhusker fans here.
Miami has had problems in their punting game. They've had a lot of long snaps. Sail over the punter's head, and almost there. High snap. Punter gets it off. And Kareem Moss underneath the ball at the 48-yard line of Nebraska. Starts to the right, gets to the 50, eludes a tackler, cuts off left side inside the 45. He's down to the 40-yard line of Miami, and Nebraska's got it 1st and 10.
Beringer at the controls as the Cornhuskers take over in good field position at the Miami 40. Here we go, Kip.
Huskers need something on this possession. Behind 10-0 over the ball at the 40-yard line. Left side hash field, right boundary left. Brook takes it back, gives to his tailback, and Lawrence fights forward and drags people with him to the 37-yard line, near the 36. Initial contact at about the 38-yard line, but Lawrence got a couple more out of it as Corwin Francis finally dragged him down. It is 2nd down after a pickup of 4. 2nd and 6 Cornhuskers into the ball game. Matt Shaw, Eric Alford. We'll see a double tight end set.
Dishman in there, canted left offensive tackle for Rob Zadiska. So on the left side now in this series, you've got a new group, Stye and Dishman.
Huskers over the ball. A set, 2 tight ends, 2 flankers. On 2nd down and 6, lone back is Phillips 7 yards back. And they're given a counter sweep left side to the boundary. And Phillips turns the corner, high steps a man inside the 35 and out of bounds in front of the Miami bench at the 30-yard line, which is a 1st down. Huge play by Nebraska as they run it to the short side of the field because Miami had overshifted defensively to the wide side.
And I'll tell you, that would have gone for a lot more, too, but you got to credit Kenny Holmes, the outstanding defensive end for the Canes, who got back a little farther in the backfield, more penetration that the Cornhuskers would like, and so Phillips had to actually loop back around that a little bit. But I'll tell you, Kent, Lawrence looks quicker to me in this ball game than he has in probably since the 1st of November.
I agree. 9 carries for LP and 55 yards. Abdul wide to the left side, right side. Riley Washington wide to the left side. The I-Pro set on 1st and 10. Beringer takes the snap. Hands it back, gives it on a reverse play. Riley Washington got a block by Shaw. He's inside the 30. He's inside the 25. Riley Washington knocked down in his tracks at the 22-yard line of Miami. A reverse from left to right. Joel Wilkes with a block. Tight end Matt Shaw with a block. And Riley Washington, the fastest guy on this squad, in a 100-meter dash, turns in 9 of 10 yards on 1st down. It's 2nd down and 1 in Nebraska, behind 10-0. 8:35 to go in the first half of play. Needing something on this series after shutting down Miami on its last series. Just outside the red zone. Double tights, flanker left, Brendan Holbein. Fullback is Schlesinger, the tailback. I believe still is Lawrence, and it is a play fake. No, it's the give to Lawrence Phillips, and he is inside to the 19-yard line perhaps. Lawrence Phillips out of the ball game, and Clinton Childs in for a play. Runs it for a couple from the 21 to the 19-yard line. And that should be good enough for a 1st down. Yes, it is. 1st down, Cornhuskers. Nebraska in the red zone this year. 41 for 51.
Clinton Childs running tough. Riley Washington, a great choice on that wide play earlier. The reverse, Riley with his tremendous speed, and he actually ran by a Miami defender. You just don't see that very often.
Some great blocks on that play as well. 1st and 10, Nebraska at the 19-yard line of Miami. Double tight ends, full house backfield. Lester Johnson in motion to the left side out of that. Brook drops back, rolls to the right, run pass option. He's got Matt Shaw. Matt Shaw's in there. Matt Shaw's in there for the touchdown. Mark Gilman's got the ball. Mark Gilman for the touchdown. Beringer on a run pass option. 1st and 10 at the 19-yard line of Miami. Rolls to the right. As Gilman on a late release on the right side at tight end got into the end zone for the touch. And so the Cornhuskers come over the ball, the PAT forthcoming. A long snap by Aaron Graham. The hold by Johnny Vedrill and the kick by Sealer. 40-yard drive, 5 plays, 4 runs, 1 pass. Vedrill signals for the ball, the placement, the kick by Sealer is up there, and it is through there. With 7:54 to go in the first half of play, Nebraska trailing Miami now 10-7. Erstad, the sophomore, out of Jamestown, North Dakota. And he has the capability of burying this into the end zone. Very, very strong leg, but again, kicking on a gimpy ankle that he hurt last week in practice. 10-7. Nebraska down by 3, halfway through the second period in the national championship. And now we're ready to play ball once more. The go-ahead given. And here comes Darren. Approaches the ball, hits it with his left foot. It's high end over end, and it is long. It is really long and over the end line, fielded by German. And Miami will have it 1st and 10 at its own 20-yard line. From the 20-yard line, Miami 1st and 10, moving left to right, west to east. Ball squarely in the middle of the field, and Costa under center. 2 wideouts left, 1 to the right, 1 lone running back is James Stewart. NU with a 5-man front. They come with 7 on a twist, though the pocket holds. Now Costa has to scramble. Costa in trouble. Costa's tackled for a loss. They got him back inside the 15-yard line. Jared Tomic and Troy Dumas all over him, but a flag on the play. And we may have a hold on the pass protector, James Stewart in the backfield, the only guy back there. Larry Jones, rather, the only guy back there with Costa. We may well have a hold.
That's the call. They were caving in, and Costa showed why that can be so effective against him, because he just doesn't move around that well. And he was retreating, and once the coverage broke down completely, Tomic and Dumas were right there. Big loss for the Canes. The momentum is shifting here in Miami.
And the Huskers decline the penalty because they want Miami to use up the down. Because with the sack, they lose 5. It's 2nd and 15, even still. And Nebraska starting to get after Costa, whereas early on, as Gary just alluded to, the pass pro was effective.
Out of the ball game now to linebacker, or at a down spot, tackle spot, Terry Keneally. And in there with Peter now is Jason Pesterfield.
From the 10-yard line. We've got a timeout on the field. Timeout by Miami. 7:22 left in the half.
The Huskers looking to get the ball back, trailing by just 3 now, 10-7.
Here we go.
To the left side out of that. Brooke comes back. Full to the right. Run pass option. He's got Matt Shaw. Matt Shaw's in there. Matt Shaw's in there for the touchdown. Mark Newman.
Yeah, there he goes. He's finally got it.
Get that right.
What's funny about that is the fact that Matt Shaw goes the entire season, doesn't catch a pass, let alone a touchdown. Come on, Pavelka. What are we doing? You're trying to give away Gilman's touchdown. Talk about that.
You got to watch Mark do that swim move get open. It was classic Mark swim move. I replayed that several times. It was a great swim move.
Well, it was that whole play was set up by the play action in the backfield. The play action in the backfield really allowed the play to happen. Ray Lewis, if you watch him, he does bite on it, and that's all I needed to get by him. You know what's interesting too with that play, Behringer hit me on that same play. It's a bootleg to the right, and I'm on the front side, so I'm running a quick flag towards the sideline. You know, Brooke had hit me on that play probably about 4 times that year. In all reality, it's really meant to go to the backside tight end. But if it's open, he takes a quick glance, and I was open, and it was a absolutely perfect pass by Brooke.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, when that ball was in the air, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my God, because I knew the end zone was clear, right? I still feel like that. I still see how we have memories in our lives. I still see that ball floating in the air. I know Ray Lewis is coming, and it was like a balloon. The ball was like a balloon floating towards me, and I'm like, get here. And yeah.
It's so cool. Not only was I super happy for you, my roommate, my buddy, but also I thought it was, the timing in which we scored really kind of gave us some of the momentum back, and you broke the ice, and that was huge. And it must have been just a huge surge of energy for the defense. What do you think, Phil?
It was, yeah. We needed that, and we're pretty close now, and we just got to just keep plugging away, and just we were blitzing and wearing them down. But again, it's still a long game. I mean, that was early second quarter. So
yeah, no doubt.
And football is such a mental game. I mean, we needed that. It picks up the spirits. It changes momentum. It lets Miami know, hey, this is a different team that's been down here before. I mean, we're here to win. And it was a shot in the arm. And I just remember the looks on everyone's face coming off the sideline, and you could see the energy. The defensive guys were just ready to get back in. They're pacing the sideline like, all right, we got something going here. So that's football for you. It's momentum changes, and that was a shot in the arm.
Definitely was.
Sure glad I didn't drop.
Great for Brooke. One of the things, if you're preparing for a team like Nebraska, one of the things that you look at statistically is, we run the ball 80% of the time. So throwing the football wasn't, I think, at the top of their list. But if you go back earlier in the season, one of the ways that we had a lot of success in throwing people off was going to the tight end. I remember the Colorado game. We won that game because our tight ends, you and Alford and Shaw. Shaw didn't catch a ball, but definitely I think the tight ends made a huge difference. And in that offense, it was because of the play action, like you talked about. was some of my favorite plays because you can actually just come off the football and really sell it to those linebackers, and then boom, it gives you a chance to get open. Yeah. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on with the game. We'll be right back with you, Husker fans.
Josh Hill coming back with you on Greatest Games as we listen to the 1995 Orange Bowl, Nebraska versus Miami. The Hurricanes hold a 10-7 edge over the Huskers with 7:22 remaining in the first half. With more play-by-play, here are Kent Pavelka and Gary Saddlemeyer.
2nd and 15, Miami, left side hash mark, boundary left field to the right, one back set, tight end left, and Costa under center. And you showing blitz, coming with 5. Pocket holds for now. Costa off the left side. Jump ball, received. The reception is made at the 30-yard line. Tyrone Williams on the tackle as the receiver went up and came down in bounds. Chris T. Jones, and Miami converts on 2nd and 15. They get exactly what they need. First down for Miami, digging out of a hole with 7:13 to go in the half. Ahead in this game, 10-7.
Tremendous play by Costa that time. We talked about the difference that height can make. You got tall receivers and small defensive backs, and I said I thought it's overplayed. But let me tell you where the exception is, Ken, in a case like that. When the ball is delivered exactly where it has to be, and the taller receiver can shield the defensive back away from his body, then the height makes a difference.
1st and 10 here for the Hurricanes. Their 30-yard line, left side hash. One back, one wide out left, 2 to the right. Costa under center. Looks at Nebraska's 4-man front with the linebackers plugging the gives to the tailback. He tries left tackle, gets it across the 30 to the 32-yard line. That's Larry Jones. Jones, the 6'1", 240-pound senior, who had 144 yards against Nebraska in the 1992 game, Miami's player of the game in that contest, in there replacing James Stewart. And so Miami picks up short yardage on first down, going up the middle. Pick up of 2, 2nd and 8 coming up.
Again, the clock running, 6:48 to go, second quarter. And the Canes with a 3-point advantage, 10-7. But I'll tell you what, this Nebraska offense has been able to operate effectively against the great Miami defense tonight. Stay tuned.
Chris T. Jones wide right, Jamie German wide left. Slot back to the right side is Jonathan Harris, one back in the backfield as Costa takes the snap on 2nd and 8. Deep drop, heavy rush by Eddie Stewart. He throws it incomplete, and we've got a penalty flag. Penalty flag. Eddie Stewart drew a bead on Frank Costa, who was backpedaling for his life, but let's see what the penalty marker's all about. And the referee facing the press box, will he say holding? He will say holding against Miami.
Oh, that's at least the second one against the Canes tonight. And that's going to cost them 5, and it's starting to break down the pass pro around Frank Costa.
Huskers take the penalty, 2nd down over, but now 2nd and 24 for the Canes, 6:23 to go in the half. They've got it at their own 16-yard line. They need to get it out to their own 40. Costa operating under center. Looks at the Husker front defensively, drops back to throw, and we got a penalty marker blowing the play dead. Apparently, somebody moved up front. I'm wondering if it wasn't an offensive lineman for Miami trying to get back in pass pro and get a half-count step on beating that pass rush. Cy Tucker, the tight end, I believe, moved early, Gary.
Yeah, he took off. He took off like a shot jackrabbit about a half a count before his line mates did. And Miami just keeps backing themselves up with penalties.
Miami now penalized 7 times for 61 yards. The Canes come over the ball. They send Jamie German wide to the left side. They send Chris T. Jones and a slot back and a quick screen left side, incomplete across the 20-yard line. Phil Ellis on the coverage. The intended receiver looked like he had that ball. Huge 3rd down play for the Cornhuskers. They can shut Miami down and get the ball back with time. 6:19 to go in the half, behind 10-7. Underneath center is Frank Costa. 1 back, 2 wide outs right, 1 to the left. And you again, linebackers plugging in there, and you comes on a twist. Costa pocket holds, throws that ball up there. It's a dying quail, a jump ball, incomplete at the 46-yard line. Incomplete. Baron Miles was there. Tony Veland was there. And Kareem Moss was there, draped all over Yatil Green. I'm not so sure Costa's arm wasn't hit a little bit as he let it go.
Well, I'll tell you this, Green found himself in the position of playing defensive back on that play, surrounded by the smaller Cornhuskers. It was a jump ball, but he didn't have the good position that he could just go up and grab it and shield the others away from it with his body, so he knocked it down to the turf, and Miami will punt out of its own end zone.
And again, Miami with the penchant of the long snapper throwing the ball right over the punter's head. It was long on high the first time. This time delivered perfectly. Hit at the 2-yard line by Dwayne Pruitt. A good bounce for Miami. Fielded by Moss, who is tracked down at the 45-yard line of Nebraska. Moss fumbling the ball a little bit, but able to come up with it, and Nebraska's going to have it 55 yards away. A 43-yard punt by Miami, nothing on the return. Clinton Childs, a Miami recruit, in there at tailback, replacing Lawrence Phillips. Huskers in the A set, 2 tight ends, 2 flankers. From their own 45-yard line, and the lone back is Clinton Childs. Option right side. Brooke cuts it back, runs 40, 55, 50-yard line, and across the 50 to the 48-yard line of Miami. Brooke started the option to the right side, the short side of the field, elected early on to cut it back himself, and got it inside, close to the, across the 50-yard line, close to the 45. They're going to spot it at the 47-yard line. And the clock runs with 5 minutes, 35 seconds left to go in the half.
Pickup of just a hair over 6 on the play. 2nd and 4, a good situation.
Jeff Makovica in there at fullback from Brainerd. Tailback, Clinton Childs, Omaha North. I-pro set, Brooke Behringer, the quarterback. Waiting for the snap, has it from Bill Humphrey, and the give is to Clinton Childs, and he goes nowhere. Lost yardage from the 46.5 back to the 49-yard line, 49 or 48 if he's lucky. And so the Cornhuskers now looking at a big 3rd down play. Warren Sapp, the Lombardi winner, who came in as the number 4 tackler for Miami with 84 solo stops, on the stop of Clinton Childs.
Going over right guard that time, and the traffic was very, very heavy. On the 1st down carry by Behringer, the nice gainer of 6. Rob Zadiska back in there, left tackle, took Sapp completely out of that play.
3rd down and 6, Nebraska. 4:49 to go in the half. Miami 10, Nebraska 7. Behringer has them in the A set. Now motion, Lester Johnson, Abdul Muhammad to the left side, and a deep drop by Behringer. Behringer guns it over the middle, complete. It's complete to Gilman, who's hit, dropped the ball, but it was blown dead at the 45-yard line, I do believe. Oh, they're going to say the ball had not been blown dead. Let's see, Miami may have the ball. Mark Gilman made the reception. I thought that the play had been blown dead at the 45-yard line. They're going to say it's incomplete and not put it away.
Yep.
And that's sort of an attempt to make both sides happy.
They're a 3 and out for the Cornhuskers. That hasn't been their situation since the first series of the game. Erstad will kick it from just inside his 40.
Blocking back is Brian Schuster. Long snap to Erstad. No fake here. Hits the ball from his 40. Wobbly kick, but high. Fair catch called for. Jamie German dropped the ball, got back on it at the 11-yard line. Miami will have it. German muffed it, but was able to recover. And so with 4:20 left to go in the half now, a 38-yard punt. No return, and Miami's got the ball.
Well, now the clock becoming a factor here as we head toward halftime. And the Cornhuskers defense has not had a lot of chance to regroup and catch its breath.
1st and 10, 11-yard line for the Hurricanes. Costa is underneath center with a lone running back. Takes the snap, 5-step drop, 4-man rush over the middle. It is complete at the 15 to the 17, 18-yard line. And that was the tight end. With a split end, Chris T. Jones on the reception. Eric Stokes made the play defensively. They'll give him the 17, looks like. And that's a pickup of about 6 yards. 2nd down and 4 coming up for Miami. As Costa now is 9 for 14 throwing it.
Well, I know the Nebraska defensive coaches thought coming into this game that Costa would try to go deep on him probably 10 to 15 times. There are as many as 10 to 15 times, but he has found that when they try the long patterns, he's getting more heat than he can handle, and they've gone to the short passing game at least the last couple of series.
2nd and 4 Kings. They're 16 and a half. At 10 to 7. Less than 4 minutes to go in the half. And a draw play off tackle right side. The running back turns the corner, 20, 25, 30, right sideline 35, and out of bounds in front of the Nebraska bench. Knocked out by Doug Coleman was James Stewart. James Stewart knocked out by Coleman and Troy Dumas. But the big play via the ground for the Hurricanes. And now they're starting to think about more on the boards before intermission with 3:29 to go. They've got it after a 24-yard pickup. So Miami over it, and they spread the field this time. Costa with no help in the backfield. Got a tight slot left, 2 wideouts right, 2 to the right in the gun. And a snap to Costa. And Nebraska with a 4-man rush. Costa guns right side, incomplete, poorly thrown. Coverage by Eddie Stewart. Intended receiver out there was Taz Johnson. 2nd and 10 for the Canes at their own 38-yard line. And the clock showing 3:25 left on the incompletion. It stopped.
Costa was hammered pretty good that time on the rush because they got to him just as he released the ball. And you know that part of the plan, Donnie Jones, the primary rusher on that one, to get to him, that the part of the plan is when you make him hurry, make sure he knows you've been there. 9 for 15 now on the night is Costa.
Ball on the right side hash. Miami working left to right, west to east as we watch it from the south side of the Orange Bowl. 2nd down and 10 from their 38 field right boundary to the left, right side. And Costa with trips left side, drops back, 5-step drop, steps up in the pocket, throws under heavy pressure, incomplete thanks to the rush. Dwayne Harris right in the face of Frank Costa, who is a little slow in getting up. And so it's 3rd and 10 for Miami at their 38, and the Huskers with a stop here will get it back. In the gun, 3rd and 10, his 38-yard line. Shotgun snap to Costa. Has time, steps up, scrambles, throws it on the run. It is incomplete, out near the first down marker. It's 4th down, and the receiver was wide open. The coverage was soft. Intended target off the left side. Could not bring it in. That was Marcus Wimberly. And Nebraska's going to get it back with 3 minutes, 13 seconds left to go in the half behind 10-7.
And unbelievable that there wasn't another holding call, because Zeb Lemelski just had to hang on to Dante Jones for dear life to keep him away from Costa, but no flag. Canes have been flagged twice for holding in just that situation, but not this time. Here we go.
Here's the long snap and the kick by Pruitt. High, hanging in the air. Fair catch by Kareem. Secures it and snuggles it in at the 25-yard line, and a penalty marker. We got Miami players going after Eric Stokes. Cheap shot, big time. Cheap shot, big time. Typical of the University of Miami. Number 47 going after Eric Stokes. Let's find his number. Let's find his name. Eric Stokes, he was going after his headgear, tried to rip it off his head.
And up and yeah, there is too a flag on the ground down there.
And this is going to be decided on by the officiating crew right in front of Dennis Erickson, who's been complaining after every play to the officials. What do we have here? What does the referee have to say? Ron Winter. Personal foul against Nebraska. Personal foul against Miami. Obviously retaliation. Offsetting penalties. That was Antonio Coley going after Eric Stokes, who apparently initiated the brouhaha. And so what that means is nothing. The ball, which was fair caught at the 25-yard line of Nebraska, stays right there. All right, Nebraska 1st and 10, its own 25-yard line. High set, open on either side. And the snap to Brook, and Brook takes it back, fakes the reverse, is scrambling for his life, runs to the right side, turns the corner at the 25 to the 30, and out of bounds goes Brook Behringer, who got a nice block on an improvised scramble to the right side. It was Matt Shaw who allowed him to turn the corner. And Brook showing good feet there, Gary.
Well, he sure did, and good speed. Once he got to the corner, Warren Sapp was back there in the backfield and almost nailed him. And then Brook bought himself a little time before one of those other front 4 guys got after him, and then he headed for the hills and made something out of nothing. 2nd and 3 now for the Cornhuskers.
Brook on the scramble picks up 7. 2nd and 3, as Gary said. 2:51 to go in the half. Huskers trail 10-7. At their own 33-yard line. High set, high pro, split end right, flanker left, toss sweep right side. It's Damon Benning, I believe. Runs into a bunch of tacklers, but turns in the first down run. Out beyond the 35 to 37. Makovica up ahead blocking on the sweep to the right side, and it was Damon Benning out of Omaha Northwest on the carry. And so Nebraska now has it at its own 36-yard line, right side hash mark. They move the sticks, 1st down Huskers.
Makovica really made that 1st down possible. Crunching block over there on the perimeter. Makovica giving Schlesinger a break. 10-7 to score. Miami leading Nebraska. 2:40 to go to half.
Makovica the fullback. Damon Benning is the tailback. Open set with 2 wideouts left and 1 to the right. 2:33 to go in the half, and Brook takes the snap. Counter sweep right side. It's Benning turning the corner. 30-yard line. 35. Across the 40, 45, and down he goes just shy, I believe, of the first down marker. We shall see. 2nd and less than 1, Cornhuskers. From the 45 and a half, 1:52 left to go in the half. Snap to Brook, turns, and the play fake, and Brook wants to throw the ball, has to scramble, throws the ball on the run up for grabs. It's incomplete. With 1:42 left to go and no flag. The crowd wants a grounding call, but Benning was out near the area where the ball was thrown. All you have to have is somebody in the neighborhood, and Benning was over there.
And Behringer knew it, and he was in the grasp of Kenny Holmes, the outstanding Hurricane defensive end. And Behringer had the presence of mind to make sure there was somebody at least in the same zip code before he fired that thing downfield. He winged it up and made sure it got out of bounds. 3rd and 1 now. Huskers still with a chance on this drive with 1:42 to go.
Huskers with the ball, 3rd and less than 1 at their own 46-yard line. The power look, 2 tights, 3 backs in the backfield. Brook changing the play, looks like. Has Klester in motion to the right side, turns, gives to his tailback. He's got the first down to the 50 to the 49-yard line of Miami. Damon Benning shot out of a cannon between his right guard and right tackle. And so the clock stops as they move the sticks along the far side. 1st and 10, Nebraska. 1:38 to go, and clock management this year has at times been a thing of beauty on the part of Tom Osborne and the Cornhuskers. We shall see what they can do with 50 yards separating them from the end zone and an opportunity to either tie this ball game with a field goal or take the lead with a touch, and Lawrence Phillips back in there from the 50. 1st and 10, Cornhuskers. A set, and Brook drops back to throw. Screen pass right side, complete to Lawrence. Lawrence tries the right side, gets a couple free. That thing is a slow developer because you throw the screen in the backfield. He's got to turn in about 6 yards before he even gets a couple.
Nice seal-off block over there along the sideline by the tight end, Matt Shaw. And I want you to know, and I'm sure you do, you follow this team, that Matt Shaw earns his keep every single day with plays just like that one that allowed Phillips to get upfield.
It is 2nd down and 7, Cornhuskers. From the 47-yard line of Miami. Behringer under center out of the A set. They've got a shovel pass out of this, and that's what it is. And it's diagnosed as Phillips is knocked down behind the line of scrimmage, loses 3 yards, back to the 50. Warren Sapp collared Nebraska's Lawrence Phillips on a brand new play.
Well, that was just great individual athletic ability on the part of Warren Sapp, because Warren, as usual, was headed upfield into the Husker backfield, and he's just got quick reflexes, was able to reach out and just grab the collar of Lawrence's jersey as he streaked by him. You just don't see many guys that can make that kind of a play. You've got to give him credit.
Wide to the left side is Reggie Ball. Remember, he caught a touchdown pass against Florida State here last year. 2 wideouts to the right. And it's spread set. Brook under center drops to throw. As time, screen pass right side incomplete to Lawrence Phillips. It's now 4th down with a half minute to go in the half. And apparently this thing will go into intermission with Miami ahead by a 10-7 count. However, Nebraska's going to have to punt the ball away, and a big play is what Miami would dearly love to have.
Warren Sapp leading the defensive charge as he has all season long for these Hurricanes, leading his teammates off the field now. And even with only a half minute to go, you don't go for it in this situation. Erstad will punt it away, and they'll try to get into the locker room down by 3.
Jamie German, single safety, Miami 12-yard line. Erstad stands at the Cornhusker 36, takes the long snap, hits it from the 39. High, German off to the left side, lets it bounce, and it goes out of bounds inside the 20 at the 18-yard line of Miami, and the Canes will have it there, 1st and 10 with 23 seconds left to go in the half. 32-yard punt by Darren Erstad. And what a game this has been. It has been everything it was advertised to be. And it is Costa in the gun, a draw play to the tailback, and the lone running back is snowed under, got nowhere. He's driven back, loses yardage. The line of scrimmage had been the 18. He stopped at the 15-yard line. That was Danielle Ferguson. And the Canes are happy to go into the dressing room leading by a field goal. After leading 10-0, Nebraska comes back to make it a ball game, and hold on, it's going to be something in the second half. Halftime at the Orange Bowl, 10-7 Miami.
Still a 3-point lead for the Hurricanes at the half. Head over to HuskerSports.tv, where a trio of players who were on that 94 Husker team are giving some insight into tonight's game. Brendan Stye is joined by Phil Ellis and Mark Gilman during breaks throughout the show.
And you comes on a twist, toss to the pocket, holds, throws that ball up there to Dine Quayle, a jump ball, incomplete at the 46-yard line.
Yes. That was third and 29.
Yeah.
So we had them back there. Maybe they were just trying to throw their big receivers out there and hope for a Hail Mary. It was kind of like a punt. If it got intercepted, it was a punt. It wasn't a big deal.
Right. Seemed like they were going to that well a little bit too much on offense. They couldn't really get anything going on the running game. But again, from an offensive lineman's perspective, looking at what you guys were presenting them with that bubble defense and coming up and kind of, thinking that you were going to blitz, the uncertainty as a quarterback, where's it coming from? Where's the pressure coming from? And then getting off like that. And then being in that situation, you guys did a hell of a job putting them in 3rd and 29 and just coming up big. It was awesome.
Man, they must not have realized Miles could jump out of the gym. So, at 5'8".
Yep. Barron was incredible. I mean, I think he led the team in tackles with 12, and then you were second, Phil, with 7. But just his size and his demeanor, he challenged everybody. He wanted people throwing it at him. And we had a bunch of playmakers like that on defense and offense. Abdul Muhammad's another guy on the other side of the ball, right, as a receiver. I don't know that he's very much taller than Barron. Both those guys could jump out of the gym.
Yeah, that was fun.
For sure.
Speaking of jumping out of the gym, Mark, can you slam dunk anymore? I know you were the Great White Hope up in Montana for a long time in basketball. You can jump yourself.
That's a great question. I don't even try anymore because I'm afraid some sort of tendon or ligament will detach. So no, I'm done with all athletic moves. My son's old now. He's out of the house. I'm not playing basketball with him anymore. All I do now is arm curls.
It's just arm curls.
That's it for the girls.
3-point line, shooting threes.
Right.
Yeah.
Shot.
One of the things going into the third quarter, coming out at halftime, I'll let you guys talk about this with Coach Osborne. Talk a little bit about what he told us at halftime. Mark, you go for it.
Yeah. So this is one of the things I'll always remember. It's almost like he had a crystal ball, but he kept saying, "We're just going to keep imposing our will. They are going to get tired." And it was almost like a script. And it started happening. We could see it happen. We kept being physical, kept to our game plan, just kept leaning on them. And you could see the momentum changing as far as them getting a little tired, a little worn out. And, one of the things I want to make sure that I mentioned in this is the Nebraska wide receivers and tight ends. Legally back then, you could cut block as long as the other person wasn't engaged. And after about 3/4 of getting cut blocked, down at the ankles and the knees and things like that, and they were clean plays. They weren't dirty. It was totally allowed back then. I know the defense from Miami got a little tired of that because it's hard to have a bunch of guys flying around down by your ankles, as you guys know. So that really helped us as we kept moving along in the game.
Talk about, Phil, your experience at halftime with Coach Osborne.
Didn't Coach, I swear, he came out and he goes, "I think, Miami will probably score again. And then basically we're just going to take over." And then it happened. And then, it was like Mark said, it was like crystal ball. And he played this over his head. And he couldn't have scripted any better. And we were so relaxed and we were just, everyone was calm and cool, collected. It was, and sometimes when they're calm like that, it's kind of scary. I think it doesn't happen too often.
Right.
but that time, I think we were okay.
Yeah, I remember the same exact thing. It was a quiet locker room, but I remember prophetically, he basically said, "We're going to wear them out. They're going to have a huge penalty, and we're going to get the ball back on a turnover." And like you said, Mark, it was like everything he had scripted out, and we went out in that second half, and it was a different game.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's go back to the game. We'll get back here in a second, Husker fans.
We roll along with greatest games here on the Husker Sports Network. Tonight we're listening back to the 95 Orange Bowl, Nebraska and Miami. We've reached halftime with the Hurricanes ahead by a field goal, 10-7. On the call are Kent Pavelka and Gary Saddlemeyer.
Darren Erstad approaches the ball, will kick it off to either German or Shipman or perhaps pass both of them. End over end, high and long, but not as long as the first one. Brought out 3 yards deep by Shipman, 5-10. Cuts right, 15, plows forward 20, and down to the 22-yard line. Nice return by Al Shipman. The Cornhuskers spotting Miami a 10-0 lead to start this ball game. Miami scoring on a short field after Nebraska gave it up on 3 and out on its first possession. Miami got a field goal out of that, and then a 97-yard touchdown drive. Huskers answered with a 40-yard touchdown drive, capped by a 19-yard pass from Behringer to Gilman in Miami over the ball. 2 wideouts left, 1 to the right, 1 running back, and Costa under center. NU, 4 down lineman, backers not coming, throws it right side, complete beyond the 25, and out of bounds at the 29-yard line, maybe the 28, but to Chris P. Jones. Jones knocked out of bounds by Eddie Stewart and Baron Miles. The original line of scrimmage to the 22, the pickup out to the 27 looks like, so it'll be 2nd down and 5. And Costa on 2nd, and we'll call it 4 yards to go from the Miami 27, takes the snap, hands it to his tailback, broke a tackle, out across the 30, spins forward, and finally is down the right sideline for another 5 yards near the 40-yard line. The running back on the play getting about 8 more yards after initial contact. That's James Stewart. Kareem Moss gets credit for the tackle, but the Canes take the opening kickoff from their own 22 out to beyond the 40 to the 41-yard line. It's 1st and 10.
Right, Ken. It'll be Moss credited with at least a piece of the tackle, but it's hard to tell because what it amounted to was a moving pile over there on the right perimeter.
So Miami comes over the ball. 3 wide outs left, tight end right. Running back is Stewart. On the near hash is where they spot the ball, man in motion left to right. And Costa takes the snap. 3-step drop.
Fade pass right side complete, 45-50. Near sideline out of bounds at the 46-yard line of Nebraska. Another first down for Miami is Jermaine Chambers. Catches the Frank Costa throw. So it is first and 10 again at the 46 of Nebraska. Miami moving left to right, west to east. Costa with 2 wideouts left and 1 to the right takes the ball, draw play to the running back, and that is Stewart out beyond the inside the 45 of the 44-yard line of Nebraska. And that is short yardage, maybe a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up. We've played 1 minute in the third period. 2nd down. 8.5 to go for the Canes. Ball at the Nebraska 44-yard line. Wide to the left side goes Yatil Green. 2 wideouts in that direction, the field side. 1 wideout to the boundary side. Costa on 2nd and 8.5. Drops back. 3-step drop. Guns it up the left side complete. Inside the 35, the 30. Inside the Cornhusker 25 to 20. Inside the 15. Inside the 10. Inside the 5. And in there for the touchdown. Touchdown Miami. Jonathan Harris. And there's a flag. Miami is going to be called for celebrating here. A 44-yard touchdown pass from Costa to Jonathan Harris. And Miami takes the opening kickoff right down the field at the Cornhuskers, marching 78 yards in 5 plays, 2 runs and 3 passes.
Well, just too much speed, Kent.
And so now the PAT by Dane Pruitt. Little chip shot from the 10, a 20-yard point after for Pruitt. And the long snap high, placed down, kicked by Pruitt up and through there. And with 13:19 to go in the third quarter, Nebraska down by 10 again. So Pruitt will approach the ball from left to right as we watch the kickoff here. Miami opening up a 10-point lead for the second time in this game. They led 10-0. And you closed to 10-7, but now Miami with another touchdown. And the kickoff is coming up short, and it is Benning, cradling the ball at the 20. Middle return now to the sideline, 25-30. East of the 35 to 40. East of the 45, and driven out of bounds. Tackled at the 48 or 49-yard line, and the Huskers will have good field position with which to operate on their first possession of the second half. 27-yard return by Damon. And Behringer takes the snap, toss sweep right side to Lawrence. Got a good block, tries to cut back, can't. Down at the 50-yard line and picked up in 1. 2nd and 9 coming up. Got 1 block in the backfield by Schlesinger. Then when he cut it back, tried to fold back underneath it, Marvin Davis nailed him. So 1 yard and that's it. 2nd and 9 NU. 12:50 left, third quarter. Reggie Ball wide to the left side. Wide to the right is Lester Johnson. The ace set with the 2 tight ends, and the lone back is Lawrence. Behringer under center, big down here. 2nd and almost 10 yards to go. Drops back, play fake, boots right side. Behringer to throw, now rushed. He throws the ball on the run and throws it away. And it is now 3rd and 9.5 yards to go, Cornhuskers. Boy, that Miami defense is lightning quick. After Behringer on the bootleg to the right side, he just did not have the luxury of waiting for his receivers to come open downfield. Big 3rd down play for the Cornhuskers early on third quarter, behind 17-7, almost 3 minutes gone. Shift tight end, right to left. That's Matt Shaw. High set. Snap to Brook. And the play fake. He steps up in the bucket. He goes long for the right sideline to Reggie Ball, well out of bounds. Reggie was covered well, double covered. It's now 4th down. And the Huskers 3 and out on their first possession, third quarter, just like they started the game. Darren setting up, standing at the Cornhusker 35-yard line. Deep back, single safety. Miami 12 is Jamie German. Again, who returned 164 yards for a punt for a touchdown against Georgia Southern. Wobbly kick, but a lot of height. Fair catch made by German, and he is hit after he makes the catch. The crowd thought there should have been a penalty. Ball hit the ground, however, and so the contact is allowed. 36-yard punt. Jason Jenkins on the punt coverage.
Miami getting the ball back, already leading 17-7 and looking for more.
Like Tony. Here comes Tony here and he missed.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I remember that. Yeah, big play.
That was a tough one. I remember that. That was a good run. I mean, that was a good run by him. I mean, can't take that away from him. But yeah, just it was a blitz again. We were blitzing, and just if Ed Stewart, if that wasn't a blitz, that would have been maybe a 15-yard play, because Ed would have made the tackle there, because he would have dropped up and got it. But he blitzed, and I was covering the running back, and so I actually sucked in pretty hard but he blocked, so I became a rusher, and then then chaos ensued there.
Yeah.
It was unfortunate, but it happens.
Well, like Coach Osborne said, though, coming out, he felt like they would score one more time, but we'd be able to recover from it. And again, I don't think they got anything close after that.
Yeah, that was their final score, right? Because they had 17 at that point. That was it for them.
That was it. Third quarter. That was a big one. That was early.
And I remember that play and, being on the offensive side, again, that was another example of momentum that went back to them. So it was kind of that one hurt. That one hurt, but obviously we recovered.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's where the offense, looked at that and says, all right, we need to step up. And you guys, of course, did or are going to here shortly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely back and forth. I mean, this game was definitely, I think after the second quarter, we knew that we could win. We knew we were in it. We just had to prevent the big plays. Yeah. And, sustaining blocks, I think, was important for us. And, Mark, you talked a little bit earlier about Coach Brown talking about cutting. Well, that was a part of what we did up front as well, especially backside, get guys on the ground. And Coach Brown, I think he used to refer to it as the Civil War. Right, because he wanted when he turned that film on, he wanted to see bodies all over the place, right? Yes. And so, again, when you're doing that to an opponent, it just wears on them, right? Mentally and physically, having to get up off the ground time and time again. And, it for us, fortunately, I think that was probably the biggest key in the game was just wearing them out.
Well, it's a different look. I mean, that's one of the advantages that we had is the cut blocking and the aggressiveness of our receivers. Teams didn't see that week in and week out. They saw it one time a week, and that was us. And Miami, I'll tell you, playing where they played in their conference, they didn't see a bunch of dudes running around giving that sort of effort. And it's human nature to be concerned about people flying to your legs.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to, even if you don't get them down, they think about it and they change their route. They change their path. And that's all we needed. And you'll see, later when Corey scores his touchdowns, it's key, man.
Bodies everywhere.
All right, yeah. So we'll get to that here in a second.
Oh yeah.
You're early.
Back with more greatest games here on the Husker Sports Network. I'm Josh Hilkeman. Tonight we're replaying the '95 Orange Bowl featuring Nebraska and Miami. We're a few minutes into the third quarter with the Canes on top, 17-7. Miami just got the ball back after a Husker punt. Kent Pavelka and Gary Saddlemeyer are calling the action.
12:02 to go in the third. The snap to Costa. Drops straight back, and you can't get to him. Goes long. Home run ball. Stokes dives for it. Can't get it. Almost. Well, he had a chance of an interception, but Costa overthrew his intended receivers who were covered well. Chris T. Jones was deep. So was Jamie German. And playing center field at safety was Eric Stokes. 2nd and 10 for the Canes at their 14.
Stokes back there along with Tyrone Williams, and that thing was well overthrown.
2nd and 10, Hurricanes. 2 wide outs left side, or 3 of them. Trips left, tight end right. Lone back is James Stewart. Nebraska showing a 6-man front, coming with just 4, though. The give is to Stewart. Stewart off left tackle across the 15, out to the 17-yard line. Penalty marker along the far side as the tackle is made. That's an illegal block against Miami. That's a personal foul against Miami.
What does that add up to? 25, 20 yards, something like that? Would be half the distance, I suppose.
Yeah, they're going to go away from the ocean on this one, penalized back toward their goal line to the west, which puts the ball just shy of the 4, between the 3 and 4 yard line for Miami. 17-7 Miami, penalized here. But remember when they had the ball at the 3 yard line in the first quarter of play, they went 97 yards, scored for their other touchdown of the game. 9 penalties for 70 yards against the Canes, and they spread the field big time. 3 wideouts right, 2 to the left. As Costa is all by his lonesome in the backfield in the shotgun. 4 down linemen, middle backer showing blitz, not coming. Costa sets up in the backfield. They're going to get it for safety. Safety, Dwayne Harris all over Frank Costa. The Huskers get a deuce. So the Husker defense scores. Costa with terribly slow feet could not deal with Dwayne Harris. Harris drags him down. It's 17-9, and Miami, of course, will kick. Its restraining line will be its own 20-yard line, and they'll have Pruitt in there to punt it away.
Well, you take your points where you can get them.
And it'll not be a punt. It'll be a kick, and it's end over end high. It's coming up short, and this is Damon. Fumbles the ball, picks it back up, starts upfield, snowed under at the 25-yard line. So Damon had to run up underneath it, muffed it, got it back. Didn't cough it up. And the Huskers 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. All right, the eye set. Schlesinger the fullback, and Phillips is the tailback. Double tights and a flanker left who's in motion. That's Holbein to the right side. Brook takes the snap. Sprint draw. Lawrence on the carry. Can he get the corner? He gets a little, about 3 yards. From the 25, maybe out to the 28-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and approximately 7 yards to go, depending on the spot of the ball, as the clock ticks away, and 11:15 left to go in the 3rd quarter. 2nd down and 7. Wide left are Ball and Muhammad. Wide to the right side is Brendan Holbein. Open set with 2 running backs in the backfield in the eye. And Behringer wants to throw. He goes to the right side, guns it out there, complete at the 35-yard line. Brendan Holbein tackled right there, but that is very close to what Nebraska needed for the 1st down. The play started to the left. Behringer reversed it off to the right, gunned the pass to Holbein, and Al says he's about less than a yard short, maybe half yard short. Double tight end set with Gilman to the left side and Shaw to the right. This is the power eye. 3 backs in the backfield. 1st and 10 NU, down by 17-9. And it is a give to the fullback, the trap play, and Schlesinger fights forward out to near the 39-yard line. Hit initially at the 36, broke that tackle, and squirts free for yardage to close to the 40-yard line. It was the safeties, Malcolm Pearson and C.J. Richardson, who stopped Corey Schlesinger, but not before he got it out to the 39-yard line. Decent pickup on 1st down. That'll bring up 2nd down and about 6.
Yeah, now Corey might just break one of those tonight. This is exactly the kind of defensive pursuit that makes you vulnerable to the trap, which Nebraska executes very well. And when it doesn't work, it doesn't look like much. But one of those things breaks, man, it's wide open.
Wide to the left side is Abdul. Wide to the right is Klester. And we're going to have the officials blowing this thing dead here before the snap of the ball.
A timeout on the field with 9:46 to go in the 3rd quarter. We still have plenty of action remaining in the game, but that's going to have to wait until hour 3 of the show. In the meantime, if you aren't already, head over to huskersports.tv and watch Brendan Stye, Phil Ellis, and Mark Gilman give more insight into this game and what it meant to them. Enjoy that over the next few minutes and stay tuned for hour 3 of the show.
9 penalties for 70.
Let's go. Dwayne Harris. Do you have long arms?
Dwayne's inside mover.
In the backfield in the shotgun. Down lineman, middle backer showing blitz, not coming. Process steps up.
Yeah.
They're going to get it for a safety.
Both Dwayne and Dante.
Dwayne Harris had a wingspan of 19 feet, I think.
Yeah, he's a specimen, man. It's a great story about Dwayne. I didn't know this, but he was supposed to go to Alabama, and Alabama had done something that, to his mom way back in the day. She wasn't allowed to go to college at Alabama because she was black. And so that kind of stuck with the family. And if you don't go to Alabama, you're from Alabama, you certainly don't go to the other side of the state, So Nebraska was his 3rd on his recruiting chart, and that's why he ended up at Nebraska. But yeah, he was a specimen. And here's the thing about both those guys. I played with Dante for 5 years with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Incredible athletes. Dante had the unique ability to never get tired. The guy never sweat, right? But going against guys like Phil, going against guys like Dante and Dwayne in practice, I mean, if we weren't prepared, then I don't know what would prepare you. I mean, these guys all across the board, up front, in our defensive backfield, our linebackers outside. I mean, we were good on good all the time.
Yeah. That's why I tell people that who's the best people you win against. I go, Nebraska offense. It was every week, one-on-ones. Crazy.
Well, I was made the comment that the hardest part of my career was Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Yeah.
During practice, because that's when we went again. That's the best.
You would come home and have bruises all over your arms. What am I doing? Oh my God!
It was the Tuesdays and Wednesdays are the worst. We had to go against Phil and all those studs, and then the games were a breeze, man.
Especially 95, yeah.
All right, let's get back to the game. We'll be back with you here in a second, Husker fans.
Tonight, a special presentation of Husker Sports, the best of Nebraska football's greatest games.
As Costa is all by his lonesome in the backfield in the shotgun. 4 down lineman, middle backer showing blitz, not coming. Costa steps up in the backfield. They're going to get it for safety. Safety, Dwayne Harris all over Frank Costa. The Huskers get a deuce.
All the big plays, all the big names.
Schlesinger and Phillips in the eye to snap to Tommy, and they give him the trap play, and it's Schlesinger inside the 5, and there for the touchdown. He's got the touchdown. It's the touchdown for Corey Schlesinger, and Nebraska takes the lead with 2:46 left to go in the ball game.
Husker Greatest Games are brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery, who have raised over $782 million, which has helped to provide more than 105,000 college scholarships, save wildlife habitats across the state, and fund new facilities at the Nebraska State Fair. The Nebraska Lottery, helping to build a better Nebraska.
Now, here's the host of Husker Sports Greatest Games, Josh Hilkeman.
We dive right into Hour 3 of tonight's show. Nebraska against Miami on New Year's Day, 1995. The Huskers have been playing from behind throughout the contest, and when we left you at the end of Hour 2, it was a 17-9 Miami lead. Let's get you back to the action now with Kent Pavelka and Gary Saddlemeyer on the call.
It is 2nd down and 6 Huskers. They're 39. Open set again. And the snap to Brook, and the give on a counter sweep, and it's Phillips around the right side looking for a block. He falls forward across the 40 to the 43-yard line. Nebraska needs to get it across the 45 to the 46, and Lawrence made most of that on his own. He was looking for a block on the flank out there, didn't get it.
Well, he got it at the point of attack, and I'll tell you, it takes a team to handle Sapp. It took Stye and Dishman to just control him from the backside over there as Lawrence headed off the right side and got upfield for a couple, but it brings down, I think, a crucial 3rd down here.
Oh, yeah, huge 3rd down. 3rd and we'll call it 3. 3rd down, 3 yards to go, Cornhuskers. The ball at their own 43-yard line. Eric Alford in there at tight end on the right side. Tight end to the left is Matt Shaw. A full house backfield. Crowd gets wild. Behringer under center, and we got a flag. Again, Nebraska just cannot get anything going here without all these endless interruptions. And what do we have? Delay of the game against Nebraska. The 25-second play clock expired.
That isn't good.
So now it's 3rd and 8. Over the ball. And the ace set. And it's Behringer on a shovel pass. Phillips fumbles the football. It's picked up by Miami. And that is to not be advanced because it's an incomplete forward pass. Incomplete forward pass, but the big ticket here is it's 4th down. And Nebraska's going to have to punt the ball away. Yet to do anything offensively in the 3rd quarter and 8:55 left to go. Erstad to punt it away, standing at the Cornhusker 19-yard, 25-yard line. Hits that ball with the left foot a mile in the air. Jamie German underneath it calls for the fair catch. Backpedals, fumbles the football. Muffed it, got back on top of it at the 9-yard line. Miami breaks huddle, comes over it. Moving left to right, from west to east. And they are over the ball with 2 wideouts right, 1 to the left, and a lone running back in a quick count. And it is Costa to throw. It's complete at the 12-yard line. The receiver is German, covered at the 13. Nowhere to go. The pursuit all over him. Troy Dumas was there for 1. Tyrone Williams was there as well. Pick up from the 10 out to around the 13-yard line. 2nd down and about 7 coming up for the Hurricanes. Clock running with 8:25 to go in the 3rd.
And Ken Dwayne Harris was there again to greet Frank Costa. They're not handling Dwayne Harris. They've doubled up repeatedly on Dante Jones because he did so much damage in the first half.
Chris T. Jones wide left. Slot left is Trent Jones. Wide left, Jamie German. Costa under center with a back up there behind him. On set, 2nd and 7. He wants to throw. Guns it to the right side. Incomplete at the 20-yard line. It was Stewart man-to-man with Trent Jones. Mismatch there a little bit. Jones just awfully fast and incomplete, however, making it 3rd and 7 Miami with 7:58 to go in the 3rd quarter. Been a strange period here, Gary.
Yeah, and Miami has been so strong in the 3rd quarter traditionally this season. And they showed that coming out of the locker room, marching down for that touchdown. This has been a big quarter for them through the 1994 season. The Cornhuskers come up with a defensive stop here. They've got a shot to get it back in decent field position and maybe go into the 4th quarter strong.
And you need a 3rd down stop here. 3rd down 7 Miami, their 13-yard line. And it is Costa under center. Man in motion before the snap. 5-step drop off the right side. It's complete. 20, 25, 26-yard line for a 1st down. And that's Marcus Wimberly. So Nebraska allows Miami to convert on 3rd down. And it is an offensive lineman slow in getting up for Miami. A 12-yard pickup on 3rd and 7. And the Hurricanes with a 1st down. We played half of the 3rd quarter. 17-9. Miami ahead the snap to Costa. Draw play. Running back is Stewart, and good pursuit to the ball. He got it back maybe to the line of scrimmage, 26-yard line, as Jason Pesterfield knocked him out of bounds. And so it'll be second down and about 10 yards to go, depending on the spot of the ball. It looked to me like he was run out at the 26-yard line, the original line of the scrimmage.
Dumas, Ellis, and Miles also swarming over there with Pesterfield. Now, I'll tell you, Miami's taken advantage when it can of Jones and Harris's quick upfield rush in a play like that. They will allow them to take themselves out of the play. And, of course, the Cornhuskers want to do some of that, too, with the likes of Warren Sapp.
Loss of one on the play, back to the 25-yard line. 2nd and 10.5, we'll call it. And again, Miami spreading the field. Costa operates under center. K.C. Jones. NU, four-man front. Backers plugging. Snap to Costa. Rushes on. He throws it complete to Chris T. Jones. Great grab. And a great job of holding onto the ball because he was stuck immediately. Dumas on a blitz. They picked it up. And Chris T. Jones caught it and held on to it despite the hit by Moss and Miles. And they pick up yardage out to the 36-yard line, which looks like a first down to me. So Miami 1st and 10 at its 36-yard line. And Miami over the ball on the near side hash mark. The right side hash, field left, boundary right. Costa under center once more. They look like they're confused, Miami. They may have to take a timeout, and they do. They didn't know what the play was, the offensive lineman. They'll burn a timeout. 1st and 10, Miami. They're 36. Costa takes the snap. Reverse left side, and a good block on Jones, 35-40. They wing back out to the 43-yard line, and that was Jonathan Harris. Boy, Dante Jones got taken out there on a nice block in the backfield off the reverse to the left side. The tight end took care of Dante, but then the tackle made up field. Nicely done, and it is now 2nd down and 4 yards to go, a pickup of 6 on the reverse.
One of the differences, again, between the 1993 and 1994 Cornhuskers is that team speed defensively, they're able to run down players who get loose behind the backers.
2 wide to the right, 1 to the left. Stewart the lone back. Costa under center on 2nd and 4 from the 42 of Miami. Long starting count. The snap, the draw play. It swung out wide left, first down across the 50-yard line. Goes the running back James Stewart right out in front of the Nebraska bench. It was Ellis and Beelan knocking him out or forcing him out. But a first down by Miami with 6:13 left to go in the third quarter, and the Canes ahead 17-9. 1st and 10, 50-yard line. Miami with the ball. Costa under center. Takes the snap. Another reverse. No, he faked. Now he wants to throw, and it's incomplete. Poorly thrown because of the pressure put on by the interior lineman. That was Pesterfield and Clint Brown chasing Costa. So it's 2nd and 10 for the Canes at the 50-yard line. Stewart, the man for whom the pass was intended. NU trying to get in position defensively. They give us to the tailback, who is dropped at the 49-yard line. A loss of 1. A great play by Phil Ellis. Because Ryan Terwilliger was racing from right to left to get set up. He was in the wrong position. And the running back, Stewart, got right past Terwilliger. Were it not for a great play by Ellis, that may have gone somewhere. Instead, a loss, and it's 3rd and 11.
And the boos you hear are from Miami fans who wanted a flag on Nebraska. Jason Pesterfield had jumped just before the snap, and they thought he'd crossed into the neutral zone when the ball was snapped. And maybe he had. I couldn't tell from this angle, but there was no flag.
Huskers need to stop Miami here on 3rd down. 3rd and 11 from the 49-yard line of Miami, and Costa is in the shotgun. The short gun, 3 wideouts left, 2 to the right. Costa screen pass, right side complete. Chris T. Jones knocked down hard at the 45-yard line by Baron Miles. Baron jumped on his back and drove him to the turf. And so Miami is going to have to punt the ball. Here's the punt coming up by Dane Pruitt. Beat back is Miles, or rather Moss. All in the air. The crowd thought there was a penalty of roughing the punter. And the ball inside the 10-yard line out of bounds. Nebraska's in a big hole. No flag. They thought that Miles had roughed Dane Pruitt. No flag. That's the good news. The bad news is that Nebraska's a mile away. And Tom Osborne stays with Brooke Behringer. From the 6-yard line, Nebraska 94 yards out. Open set, I formation, snap to Brooke. Brooke gives to his tailback, and he tries the middle and gets yardage out beyond the 10 to near the 13-yard line. And that was Corey Schlesinger, I beg your pardon, the fullback on the carry, the trap play up the middle. So Nebraska gets a little breathing room on 1st and 10 from inside the 5-yard line. 2nd down, 3.5 to go. Cornhuskers, Brooke under center, turns, counter sweep right. Phillips on the carry. Phillips across the 15, across the 20, and down to the 21-yard line for a 1st and 10. Lawrence Phillips running hard. Good blocking for him. 4 minutes and 3 seconds left in the third period. Nebraska trying to get some field position here with a 1st and 10. Out beyond its own 20 to the 21-yard line. C.J. Richardson on the stop.
Brendan Holbein, the split end out there, trying to create a little more space for Phillips. But they were in the midst of a lot of hurricanes. He was able to get upfield for the first down, but not much more.
You see how Nebraska's trying to snap that ball as quickly as it can and get some continuity in the offense going here. Here's motion, Holbein, right to left, trips left, Nebraska, and Brook fakes, boots, throw, goes over the middle. It's complete at the 35-yard line and down for a first down at the 36-yard line. The Cornhuskers, Abdul Muhammad, Nebraska's leading receiver, on the other end of that pass from Brook Behringer. And so Nebraska's moved the ball out beyond the 35 to the 36-yard line, and the clock stops with 3:42 left in the third quarter. Nebraska trailing 17-9. And you see how quickly they get the play in. They want to snap the ball. They come up over it. Lester Johnson to the left side. Shaw's the tight end to the left. Split end to the right is Reggie Ball. Bill Humphrey in there at center. Lester Johnson in motion toward the formation. The give is to Lawrence Phillips, who goes nowhere. A loss on the play. Original line of scrimmage, the 36. There was defensive penetration and lost yardage back inside the 35 to the 33. Kenny Holmes knifed in there, unblocked. Under center is Brook Behringer. The eye post set up, dual in motion left to right. Takes the snap. Boots to the right side. And Brook to throw the ball over the middle. It is complete, and a great grab across the 50-yard line. Abdul Muhammad once more, baby. Abdul with a big grab. And Nebraska out beyond the 50 into Miami territory. And you watch the play come in quickly, and Nebraska huddling up. They want to snap that ball and work this Miami defense. 19 yards on the pickup.
Yep. Keep them on the run. Don't let them get a chance to catch their breath. Now, if the Canes want to take another timeout, they can, but they've only got one left in the half.
Huskers 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line of Miami. They send Clester to the right side. Abdul to the left. Double tight ends. The ace set with Phillips, the lone running back. Huskers behind 17-9, 2.5 to go, and Brook gives the ball off on a draw play, and it is Phillips losing yardage, about a yard. Got it to the 49-yard line of Miami. Started the play back in the Cornhusker backfield, back at the Nebraska 45-yard line. And Kennard Lang made the play, so Nebraska looking at 2nd and long. They converted on 2nd and long on their last situation. On the 49-yard line of Miami, Brook under center takes the snap and the give. And the play fake, I beg your pardon. And Brook wants to throw, has to scramble. He's going to be dragged down. He is thrown down to the turf. And that was Kennard Lang once more. You got to credit the Miami DBs as Behringer had some time, but no one to throw to.
Yeah, Reggie Ball downfield. And the thing about the Miami DBs, we talked about the tremendous speed of the Hurricanes receivers. Their defensive backs are in the same category. They'll run with anybody you send out there.
Huge play here. 3rd and 14, Nebraska. Ball to the right side. Holbein and Clester Johnson to the left in the middle. It's complete inside the 40-yard line to the 38, and I believe a first down again to Abdul Muhammad. Huge 3rd and 14 conversion. They've got the ball inside the 39, right near the 38-yard line.
And it is short, or at least Warren Sapp says it is, and now the referee indicates about a foot.
Boy, I tell you what, that is a dilemma. I think you go for it.
Yep.
If you're Tom Osborne, you're going to go for it.
Brooks staying out there. Here comes the play from Shaw and Alford and Reggie Ball.
They will put the ball on the left side hash mark. The field to the right, the boundary to the left. Nebraska moving right to left, east to west. Behringer waiting for the officials to wind the clock here. The center is Bill Humphrey. They're in the eye. Double tight, wing right. Brook waiting for the snap. Huge 4th down play. The quarterback sneak, and I believe he got up the good spot and got the first down. The referee, the side judge coming in from the near side, I believe gave him a good enough spot that Nebraska's going to get the first down. But don't put it in the bank.
Yeah.
First down, Nebraska just inside the 38.
Well, it was a pretty good surge, Ken, and they only needed the foot. And that's about all they got, but it was with enough to spare that they didn't have to bring in the sticks to measure it again. So Nebraska with a fresh set of downs here, needing some points. They're down by 8, 17-9 to the Canes with 37 seconds and the clock running.
Full house backfield here. Double tight, 3 backs in the backfield. Brook under center. Looks at that 4-man front by Miami. They come with a 5th on a blitz. Brook to throw the ball. Brook dumps it out there, complete to Lawrence inside the 35. Spins it out of bounds near the 30-yard line and hit out of bounds pretty hard. I hope he's okay. Yep, he's up. So Brooke Behringer to Lawrence Phillips, who was the hot receiver on that pattern, dumped it out on the left flat to him, and Lawrence turns in yardage from the Nebraska, from the 38 of Miami to the 30, to the 31 of Miami. So a 7-yard pickup, 2nd and 7 coming up.
Well, that was
second and 3 coming up.
Nice catch, too. Kent Lawrence went up in the air and brought it down. Bare-handed catch, left himself vulnerable, and then he was hammered. Of course, Lawrence will tell you he was okay even if he was hurt.
Lawrence is coming out, and Clinton Childs is back in. Wide right goes Clester Johnson. Wide left goes Reggie Ball. In the eye pro set with 16 seconds left, third quarter, Riley Washington in there. And the give and the fumble, Clinton Childs couldn't get the ball. A scrap for the loose ball. Who's going to get it? Who's going to get it? They're unstacking them. Let's take a look. Who's got the football? The referee trying to get him up underneath the. He's got the ball. Oh, my. There was a bullet right between the eyes that somehow missed the vital organ. Huskers get it back. Clinton Childs in there for one play. Now they've reversed it. Now they've reversed it. They've given it to Miami. Holy cow. Miami 1st and 10. It's 36-yard line. 10 seconds left, third quarter. Costa under center, takes the snap, draw play, tail back, runs into a wall out near the 40-yard line, but bites through it across the 40 to the 41. That was Danielle Ferguson, tackled by Clint Brown. And now the clock expires. That'll be the end of the third quarter.
Through 3 quarters of play, still 17-9 Miami.
And the give and the fumble. Clinton Childs couldn't get the ball. A scrap for the loose ball. Who's going to get it? Who's going to get it? They're unstacking them. Let's take a look.
Rob.
Who's got the football?
I think
Referee
Brooke
trying to get him up
his,
underneath the. Got the ball. Oh, my.
He knew it.
There was a bullet right between the eyes. But somehow.
And that,
the vital organ.
I watched this replay a little bit.
Clinton Childs in there for one play. Now they reversed it.
This was blocked really well.
Yeah, it was terrible.
That would have went a ways, but man, that was let that one get away.
Well, the call itself, though, I mean, in a game like this, it just seemed like a homer call to me because the guy calls it right away. Nebraska's got the ball, and then the guy fights for it. And it wasn't really a scrum. I mean, it wasn't like one of those bigger ones where, it takes 2 or 3 minutes to get everybody up.
Yeah, if there was
the call was made. I remember in that game, for whatever reason, the Orange Bowl coats, those guys that run that Orange Bowl, they always wanted the home team to win. They wanted the Florida team to win. And when we started getting that momentum back, you looked around. I remember just feeling like this sense of, oh gosh, Nebraska's going to win this, and this isn't good for the state of Florida. We want Miami to win it. We want Florida State to win it. The year before we played Florida State, there were some calls in that game that were bogus.
Oh man!
The phantom blocking the back on I think Corey Dixon's punt return. The fumble on the goal line by Floyd, their running back. Some of the calls in that game just seemed like we just could not get over the hump, and we actually played a really good game.
We won that game. What are you talking about? That was our third championship.
Yeah. And unfortunately, in a game like that, as close as it was, it comes down to one play and one guy making a play. And it's, that's a huge burden. Like you were talking about, if you drop that ball and that first touchdown we scored, you're living with that the rest of your life. Yeah. But again, it's a team game, and certain sequences of events lead you to those plays. Doesn't necessarily mean that the game falls on that play. But it's just the way it happens. And of course, the year before, for us, our biggest thing was getting back to that moment to where we had a chance to win the national championship. And we did, man. It was incredible, really, kind of those 2 years, really put Nebraska back on the map as far as a national champion contender.
I often say it was all, those years were a perfect storm. And what I mean by that is, we had some dynamic athletes that came to Lincoln, Nebraska. And again, I go back to the defense that Phil was on those 2 years, 94, 95. And the team speed was unbelievable. I mean, it really was. And I'm not lying when, basically the whole team in the secondary and linebackers ran a 4-4. You just don't see that all the time. And then the studs that we had up front that could, control scrimmage. You get a great option quarterback in Tommy, and then Brooke is his backup, and we get great. It was a perfect storm for about 3 years there, and just ran everything to perfection. And the other thing is you had people that bought in. I mean, that's the other thing. You got to buy into the program. You have to get receivers that are willing to catch maybe 12 balls a year, but they're willing to work and do those cut blocks and hustle every play. And when you buy into a program and buy into the philosophy of the head coach and the assistant coaches, those are personalities of players, and there's not infighting. I mean, I don't remember infighting at all in the locker room. I mean, we were all together.
There's a lot of fights in practice. Practice.
Yeah, they didn't go into the locker room.
Practice was over. It was done.
Nope.
Right?
Yeah.
Move on.
Nope. That was cool. I tell people that too. It's like, yeah, we killed each other in practice, and then we go not hung out. That's not the right term. we'd be fine.
All right, let's get back to the game.
Greatest games continuing along here on the Husker Sports Network. We're listening back to the 1995 Orange Bowl featuring Nebraska and Miami. The Hurricanes hold a 17-9 advantage at the end of the third quarter. With the call at the start of the fourth quarter are Kent Pavelka and Gary Saddlemeyer.
Second down and 7, Canes. Fourth quarter coming up. No backs in the backfield, and Costa underneath center. 3 wide outs on the left side, 2 to the right. Costa, 3-step drop, guns it out there. It is going to be caught out about beyond the 40 to the 43-yard line for short yardage, and Costa slow in getting up. Huskers 4 men at the line of scrimmage. Middle backer plugging up in there as well. And he's coming. And Costa, fade pass, right side, man coverage. Miles against the receiver. Jump ball incomplete. No flag. Incomplete. Fourth down, Miami. Jump ball, Baron Miles going up with it for it with Chris T. Jones. And Miami will give it up. Double safeties back for Nebraska at the Cornhusker 20-yard line. High pass, throw in the center. As the punter goes after the ball at the 10-yard line, kicks the ball out of bounds. And a penalty marker, you can't do that. And the referee with the illegal kicking of the ball penalty against Miami. And what a huge break for the Cornhuskers here with 14 minutes, 2 seconds left to go, just underway in the fourth quarter of play. The Huskers had shut down Miami. Miami in punt formation. And once again, I believe it was for the 10th time this season, the ball is snapped by the long snapper over the head of the punter. Nebraska's going to get the ball at the 4-yard line of Miami as the kicking game of Miami explodes in its face.
Well, Kent, they've got a linebacker in Jeffrey Taylor as the long snapper because they've been having so much trouble with that, and then he fires it over Pruitt's head.
And Nebraska first and goal at the 4-yard line of Miami. Full house backfield. Phillips, Schlesinger, and Lester Johnson, the double tight ends. Behringer under center, takes the snap, turns, boots to the right side, run pass option. He throws the ball long, and it is intercepted in the end zone. Intercepted in the end zone. Behringer would have done well to throw the ball into the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean. The defense is going to have to suck it up. Toss sweep left side to the tailback. He's out to the 21-yard line. Not much there. Picked up a yard. 2nd and 9 coming up. 13:48 left in the game. 17-9 the score. The running back was James Stewart, and the Husker pursuit was good to the ball. Got only a yard.
I think Tom's thinking there in that call on first down and goal at the 4 was that Miami would bet all of its marbles that the Cornhuskers would come up the middle with something.
Yep.
Try to hog it in there with that big offensive line, and then we'd cross them up. But that plan came up a loser, and
Brooke,
so Miami takes over.
And Brooke, of course, was a little bit hesitant as to whether he was going to run the ball or throw it. By that time, the coverage was there. 2nd down and 9, Hurricanes there, 21. Costa takes the snap from underneath center, drops back to throw, steps up in the pockets, hit from behind, tackled from behind for a loss. And that was Dwayne Harris once more. Tommy Frazier on the far sideline, throwing the ball, warming up. Where you played to 12 minutes, 55 seconds. And Miami facing a big third down here. A loss on the play back to the 20. It's 3rd and 10. And Costa in the shotgun. 2 wideouts right, 1 to the left, 1 back along with Costa. The short shotgun snap. Costa steps up, guns it over the middle, and it's incomplete, nearly intercepted by the Cornhuskers at the 31-yard line by Phil Ellis. Jonathan Harris, the intended receiver. Clint Brown and Ellis both had a shot at it, but Miami is 3 and out, and there's a penalty marker way back in the backfield. The Miami backfield may have had a hold against Miami, and I'm sure Nebraska will decline that and elect to have Miami punt the ball away.
Right, if that's what it is, we'll get the indication here very soon. Well, I'll tell you what, this is a valiant defensive effort. The Cornhuskers, yeah, that's what it is, a hold against the Canes. That'll be declined. They'll have to kick it away. Pruitt's back out there. And now you got to figure there's a little pressure on Jeffrey Taylor.
Long snap is low from center, nearly blocked by Miles. Good kick. Underneath it at the Nebraska 38-yard line is Moss. He dances his way out to the 44, 45-yard line, lost the football. Did he get back on top of it? Let's see. I think Nebraska's got the ball. So Nebraska's going to get it, but instead of having it at the Miami 4-yard line where they had it before, they're a long way away, but plenty of time. 12:07 to go in the game. Nebraska will have it 1st and 10 at their own 41.
Some wild action, but the score remains 17-9 Hurricanes in the lead a few minutes into the fourth quarter. The Huskers 59 yards away from the end zone. We'll see if they can get there when Greatest Games returns.
The Cornhusker 20-yard line. High pass. Throw over the center. And so Penner goes after the ball at the 10-yard line.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about plays. Talk about a huge shift in momentum. I mean, think about that long snapper, how he feels today.
Inside the 1-yard line.
He thinks about it every day.
Full house backfield.
Such a huge momentum.
Let's go.
This was bad.
Under center. Take the snap. Turn.
He said he was trying to throw it away.
He throws the ball long, and it is intercepted in the end zone.
Yeah,
he was trying to throw it away.
I talked to Brooke when he threw that, and I'm like, "What were you thinking?" He goes, "He said he was trying to throw it away."
Yeah.
It didn't. The film doesn't do it any justice. He looked like he was trying to put it where Alford could only get it. I don't know. That was a tough one.
Yeah, he was trying to fit it in a tight window. I mean, you could tell if he was trying to throw. Brooke had a strong enough arm; he could have thrown that out of the stadium. So he made a mistake.
But, hey, the Miami defensive player, he kept with it though. I mean, he made a good interception. I'm like, I'll give him that.
Yeah.
It was a good play action. It was blocked well, and hindsight 2020, Brooks should have thrown it away.
Well, and if you watch, I remember that play. It's another play I got graded down on. And if you watch me, I did a terrible job coming off the line of scrimmage. Phil, you mentioned my swim move abilities.
Yeah,
I didn't do my swim. I got stood up at the line. And again, that was the same play as the touchdown. And I think if I would have done the right technique and came off clean, Brooke might have had a shot at me. So there's a lot of fault on my part there too.
Yeah. That was big.
It takes 11 guys,
Yeah. You got to do your job, right? You got to do. I didn't do my job on the release.
Yeah. Well, again, I went back when I watched this game, whatever it was, 3 or 4 years after the fact. I totally forgot about that. I remember the long snap, but then we turned right around and turned the football over. It was like, oh my God,
momentum.
Incredible, yeah, and it shifts right back to him. But the great thing about this game and the beauty of it is you watch, like you said, Mark, it was a game of attrition, right? It was okay, slowly but surely we were wearing them out, and everybody talks about that to this day. Some of the mistakes that they were making offensively, and it seemed like he was pressing as a quarterback. Their offensive line mentally broke down, and we're going to see this here in a little bit. But I think we had the edge because correct me if I'm wrong, going into this game, they practiced like 3 times in pads, getting ready for this game. We had scrimmaged how many times?
Oh, wow.
I mean, 4 or 5 at least.
Yeah.
At least, right? And in practice probably a dozen times in pads for this game.
Oh, yeah.
I think I lost 15 pounds. It was crazy.
Well, I don't know the Miami practice schedule, but I do remember they turned the heat up in the Cook Pavilion, which was our indoor facility. And I remember some of those practices that we had in the team meeting. Coach Brown would say, all right, we got recruits in, so today's going to be intense, and I want you guys going all out. And it's like, well, we always go all out, but the drills that we did that way, I don't know why we're showing off to recruits. If I was a recruit and I saw these guys killing it in January or late December, right by Christmas, I'd be like, I'm not going here. I'm going to go to Oklahoma where it's easy, right?
Yeah.
So, I know that those were some of the most intense practices leading up to that game.
Yeah.
Holy cow, yeah.
And then looking at – we always knew what was coming because they showed us the schedule. Well, at least Coach Tenneper let us know the schedule. And it wasn't like we scripted everything, but you have to almost, in practice. You got to know what you're going up against and the plays you're running. But I just remember always kind of not necessarily dreading, but going, oh, God, ones versus ones. Here we go. Yeah. And it wasn't like we were live the whole time. It wasn't. We certainly got our reps in, and that was huge for Coach Osborne. It was – the game was about repetition, especially in the offensive option game, right? And Coach Osborne, to this day, he still hammers on it. If you want to be a good team, you've got to get so many snaps in a practice. And so many teams don't do that. They kind of get away from it. But not only are you getting the reps to perfect a play, to try to get as close as you can to perfection, but also you're getting some of the younger guys some plays.
Yeah.
Defensively, probably the same thing.
If it was tough on you guys, because at this time I've been in the system for 4 years. I knew the play before you guys did, and so and we all did. And so if you guys could block it, that's even better for you guys. And that was
great point.
Like you put it on the 1 yard line, and it's like we knew it was coming. Everyone else, they just told us to play. Remember that?
All right, let's get back to the game real quick, guys.
Josh Hilkman back with you on a Friday night. Greatest games continuing along. We're listening to Nebraska versus Miami in the Orange Bowl on New Year's Day, 1995. The Huskers have the ball, 1st and 10 at their own 41-yard line, with 12 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, trailing the Hurricanes 17-9. With more play-by-play, here are Kent Pavelka and Gary Saddlemeyer.
1st and 10, Nebraska. Tommy underneath center. I-pro set in U41. Snap to Tommy option, and Warren Sapp is all over him. Drops him for a 4-yard loss, nearly a 5-yard loss. Warren Sapp was on Tommy Frazier before he was able to reverse pivot. 2nd and 15. Ball splits out wide left side, hole behind wide right. Schlesinger the fullback. Lawrence Phillips is the I-back. Tommy underneath center, 4-man front, and now folding back at linebacker Miami. Play fake, Tommy to throw. Tommy over the middle, throws a complete gun, a rifle shot to Abdul Muhammad at the 48-yard line of Nebraska, which is just shy of what Nebraska needs. They need the 49 of Miami. Double tights. Holbein in motion right to left from his flanker spot. The snap and the option play. Tommy on the keep to the right side. Cuts up and hit down at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Tommy Frazier on the option to the right side. And he is knocked down, and it's now the clock stopped with 10:27 left to go, and the Huskers looking at 4th down and 3 yards to go. Kennard Lang out of the ball game. And in single safety now for Miami is Jamie German. And Erstad in to punt it away. Now the up back here is Brian Schuster. Should Nebraska be thinking fake here? Long snap, low from center. Erstad hits it, and he hits a rifle shot. Great spiral, tight spiral, takes a great Husker hop, and Nebraska downs the ball at the 3-yard line. What a perfect punt. Trips right side. One back is Stewart, along with Costa, who takes the snap and gives it to Stewart, who was tackled at the 2-yard line. Last yardage on the play. The clock runs with 9:45 to go. Doug Coleman knifing up underneath James Stewart to tackle him. And so Nebraska, with the clock working against it, hoping to force Miami out of there on 3 snaps and get the ball back for the offense.
2nd and 12.
Miami over the ball at its 2-yard line now. Wide left is Chris T. Jones. Wide to the right side, Jamie German. Costa gives to his tailback off right side, out to the 5, and bites forward out to maybe the 6 or 7-yard line. Off right side. Huskers stop him again. Miami needs to get the ball out to its own 14-yard line. They're looking at 3rd down now. Stewart on the carry, and we are under 9 minutes left in the ball game. And Miami obviously will, in clock management, be working the play clock down all the way from 25 to as close to 0 as they can get it before the snap. 3rd and 6.5 for Miami from its 7-yard line. Trips left side, tight end right. Costa under center, takes the snap, 5-step drop. He's near the goal line, guns it out there, and it is incomplete. And Miami's going to have to punt the ball away. Chris T. Jones, the intended target. It was thrown too low. Miles on the coverage. Huskers are going to get it back, but they have to get something done once they get it back.
And keep your eye on number 14, Baron Miles, on the punt. He's the guy that will get there if anybody can to get a finger on this football. Reggie Ball and Kareem Moss back to return the kick.
Moss to the right side, ball to the left. At about the 45-yard line of Miami, Pruitt is 5 yards deep in the end zone. Nebraska with 9 at the line of scrimmage. A long snap, and the punt by Pruitt. He got it off. Wobbly kick, and it is Moss. Hit, got away. He's inside the 40. Almost lost the football, but holds on to it, and it's going to be Nebraska 1st and 10 at the Miami 40-yard line. 8 minutes, 11 seconds left to go. Over the ball, tight end right is Gilman, tight end left is Shaw. And Tommy has them at the line of scrimmage, but again, before they can get the play off, a delay, and now they wind the clock. Trips left side, Pro trips. Snap to Tommy, runs the short side, tosses it off to Lawrence. Lawrence, he eludes a tackler inside the 30, 25, inside the 20, and Lawrence Phillips is down to the 14, 15, 14-yard line. Lawrence Phillips ran out of sideline, but cut that baby back. And the Huskers at the 15-yard line of Miami. Corwin Francis made the tackle. Nebraska with 8:01 left to go in this game on a 25-yard run from the 40 to the 15-yard line by Lawrence. Tom sends Schlesinger in. He sends Eric Alford in. He sends Reggie Ball and Abdul Muhammad in. They wind the clock once more. The ball's on the right side hash mark. 7:55 left to go in the game. Nebraska trailing by 8. Wide to the left goes Reggie Ball. Wide to the right, Abdul Muhammad. Tight end, right and left. Huskers. First and 10 at the 15 of Miami. Tommy under center. Has the snap from Graham. And he gives it off. It's inside the 10, inside the 5. It's Corey Schlesinger. Touchdown! 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 Cornhuskers!
Hey, Kent, that was one too many touchdowns.
The Huskers on 2 plays from the 40-yard line of Miami are into the end zone. And now Nebraska 2 points away from tying the ball game. 7:38 left to go. And that is plenty of time, even if you don't convert on the 2-point conversion, to play defense and get it back and do something with it. From the 3-yard line, Nebraska will go for a 40-yard drive in 2 plays. On runs of 25 yards by Lawrence Phillips and 15 yards by Corey Schlesinger. And you go in for 2. Full house backfield. Phillips behind Schlesinger. Motion by Cluster, right to left before the snap. The snap to Tommy. He wants to throw the ball in the end zone. He does. It's caught. It's caught. 2-point conversion. Eric Alford in the end zone. It's a tie ball game. It's a tie game. 17-17. Tommy Fraser to Eric Alford for the 2-point conversion. The double extra point. And Nebraska now in a dead heat with Miami. And look at the sideline along the far way. We were watching during the last several commercial breaks, and the mood along the far sideline on the Nebraska bench was one of resignation. You could tell it. They sensed it was not going to happen again. It's a tie game, and Nebraska will call on the defense to try to get the ball back once more.
Halfway through the 4th quarter, the Huskers tied up with a Schlesinger touchdown and the 2-point conversion.
Has a snap from Graham. And he gives it off. It's inside the 10, inside
yes.
the 5.
I think Wilkes. Is that you, Stein, or is that Wilkes that had that block on the right?
That was Wilksey. And the beauty of this play, right, was taking what Miami did well and using it against them. This is a beautiful pass by Tom.
Beautiful pass.
Yep. Nice touch, and there's Gills.
Yeah. Tommy should have thrown it to me, though. I was open first.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what he's doing.
Well, the cool thing about this game also, you guys, Brooke and Tommy both played significant roles in this game. Yeah. And certainly I think Coach Osborne, the decisions that he made and the calls that he made in that game were huge. But putting Tommy in at the end, I think really Tommy had that experience, that big game experience, and it was important that he was in the game. And I truly believe the decision to put Tommy in at the end of the game really gave us the advantage.
Perfect.
He had you could feel it almost. He was getting his groove back, and he was rusty. You could see it in his eye, and again, not taking anything away from Brooke, but yeah, like you said, he was a big play quarterback, and he was feeling it there late. And he was getting blocked by the line.
The fullback trap. Talk a little bit about that, Mark, as far as that play and that design. I mean, it was something that we had in our package, but we didn't run it a whole lot.
Right.
That season we really didn't. And it was
okay, so I know the path you were going to go down there, Sty, for a split moment there. So the trap, and I remember there were certain games that year. One stood out to me was Texas Tech. Texas Tech was very aggressive as well. They had that middle linebacker, Zach Thomas, who was aggressive. So what that trap does is it shows, if I'm not mistaken, it shows a certain movement at the line that looks like it's going to go outside. So everybody uses their momentum to come up field real quick or shift to the outside, and then boom, the fullback slips right underneath. And sometimes the defensive linemen don't even have to be blocked. They fire off the ball. They're in the backfield, and the fullback already has the ball and by him. Texas Tech, we ran that play probably 10 times in a row, and Texas Tech couldn't stop it. We didn't do it too much until that fourth quarter against Miami. And again, it goes back to the brilliance of Tom Osborne. I mean, I think he kept that in his bag of tricks. And he knew what he was doing by putting Tommy in at the end. I think that was a plan the whole time. Of course, if Brooke was killing it, maybe he wouldn't have. But then the threat of Tommy running the option to perfection, and Brooke did it well too, but Tommy obviously was probably a little better at it. And it was a brilliant idea. But if you watch, it was brilliant to bring the trap in. Brilliant.
Let's see what the fourth quarter has in store for us and how we wear them down.
Back one final time here on Greatest Games as we wrap up the 1995 Orange Bowl between Nebraska and Miami. The Huskers just scored a touchdown on a 15-yard run by Corey Schlesinger, which was followed by a 2-point conversion to tie the game at 17 with 7.5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Here with the call of the final minutes are Kent Pavelka and Gary Saddlemeyer.
And how big the interception. The Behringer threw into the end zone looms now. Here is the kickoff by Erstad. It is a rocket end over end, high in the air, deep in the end zone, and German will not bring it out. Touchback. Out to the 20-yard line the ball comes. Clock has not moved. 7:38 left to go. 17-17 the score. Nebraska has come from 10 points behind to tie it up. Miami over the football at its 20-yard line. Score tied at 17. 3 wideouts left, tight end right. Costa with Stewart in the backfield. Nebraska, 4-man line. Ellis in the middle showing blitz from his middle linebacker spot. Costa, long starting count. Long count, has the snap, turns, gives to Stewart. Stewart, knife down at the 20-yard line, went nowhere. It's second down. And 9.5 yards to go. Dante Jones and Eddie Stewart got him. Stewart with the first contact. And now Miami with 7:24-23 to go. Looking at second down. 2 wideouts to the right side, 3 to the right side for Costa, who is under center once more. Second down, 9.5 to go. Just outside the Miami 20-yard line. Score tied at 17. Costa pump fakes right side. Now wants to throw the ball in the fade pattern down the right sideline. Man coverage. Miles with Jones. It is incomplete. No flag. It is 3rd and 10. Baron Miles in single coverage, and then help with Tony Veland, and the ball comes back to the 20.5-yard line where it's 3rd down and 10 yards to go. Clock stop, which helps Nebraska with 6:46 left to go in the game. Huskers need a stopper here. 3rd and 9.5 for Miami, and they come over the ball, sending 3 wideouts to the right and 1 to the left. Costa naked in the backfield. No backs. He's under center. 3rd and 9.5, and now a man in motion from left to right before the snap. Long count again in the snap to Costa. Drops back to throw the ball. Goes down the left side all by himself. The receiver incomplete. It's incomplete. Nobody covering the receiver, Taz Johnson. It was a blown coverage. Dwayne Harris with great pressure on Frank Costa, and Miami has to punt the football away with 6 minutes, 40 seconds left to go in the game, and it's all tied at 17. It'll be Baron Miles. Or I beg your pardon. It will be Reggie Ball and Kareem Moss in a double safety. And Dane Pruitt standing at the Miami 7-yard line, 9 at the line of scrimmage for Nebraska. They've had problems. Long snap a little high. He fields the ball, hits it. It's low. It's returnable. It'll bounce. Nebraska will have to let it alone, and it is kicked by Miami at the 42-yard line of Nebraska, and the Huskers will get it there. Huskers in the I-Pro set. 1st and 10, the 42-yard line. Left side hash mark. Tied at 17, going for the national championship. Lester Johnson in motion. It's a counter sweep left side. Lawrence dances out of trouble. Now cuts it upfield. Gets it back to the 40-yard line to the 41. He did a great job just getting it back to the line of scrimmage. He could well have lost 4 or 5, but he got it back to the 41-yard line. It'll be second down and 10. Maybe 11 yards to go. The Huskers with a counter sweep to the right side, but Miami with penetration, and Lawrence did well to get what he got. And in the spread set, Tommy is underneath center, takes the snap, wants to throw the ball, throws it off the left side. It is complete to Reggie Ball at the 48-yard line. A complete forward pass with 5:38, 37, 36 seconds to go. Nebraska now needs to get the ball inside the 49, short of the 48-yard line of Miami for the 1st and 10. The clock is running. 5:05 to go in the game. It's all tied at 17, the ace set. One back, that's Lawrence Phillips. And Tommy on an option play keeps the ball. He cuts it inside the 45-yard line, inside the 40. Tommy inside the 35, inside the 30-yard line. Tommy Frazier to the 32-yard line. 1st and 10, Huskers. 4:51 left to go in the football game. Nebraska first and 10. 17-17 the score. Heisman Trophy hopeful Tommy Frazier put on the shelf with blood clots. Comes back and perhaps is engineering a national championship touchdown drive or a field goal. Abdul Muhammad to the right side, Reggie Ball on the left side, Nebraska in the eye with Schlesinger and Phillips. They wind the clock with 4:45 left to go. Tommy underneath center, Aaron Graham takes the snap, gives it to Lawrence. Lawrence inside the 30, 25 and down to the 22-yard line. Lawrence Phillips between his right guard and right tackle, and the clock runs with 4:33 left to go. They're putting it in position, Gary.
There's no question, Kent. The Miami defense is tired. They're very ragged. They're not dealing with Nebraska's offensive line, which is just as strong at this point in the game as it was on the opening series of the game. One of the keys to a victory after a victory, and they totaled 12 of them during the 1994 season. Nebraska always is strong at the finish.
Ball just outside the 20-yard line. 4:07 to go in the game. 17 all to score. The full house set with a double tight end. Schlesinger, Phillips, and Clester Johnson. Tommy underneath center. Takes the snap. Brings it back to Lawrence on a stretch play. Tries to cut back. Gets nowhere. Back to the 20-yard line, and the clock runs with 3:54 left to go. Nebraska, third down. 4 yards to go. Will they run something to the left to get it centered, Gary? Nebraska over the ball. The double tight end set. The full house backfield. Tommy underneath center. Huge third down play. Abdul Muhammad calls timeout. Timeout is taken by, Miami calls timeout. They used their last timeout with 3:14 to go. Third down, 4 yards to go for the Cornhuskers. It's going down to the wire. Holbein wide to the left side. Clester Johnson wide to the right, the double tight end. Ace set, Phillips the lone running back. Tommy underneath center on 3rd and 4 from the 20. Waits for the snap and has an option play to the right side. Tommy on the keep, cuts back. He's inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. The Huskers have a first down. 3:07 left to go. Tommy Frazier, option right to the boundary from the right side hash. Ducked back up inside on the carry and was able to dive forward for the first down, and the Miami Hurricanes may well be on the ropes. Nebraska with 3:07 to go in the game now as they stop the clock to move the sticks. Now they wind the clock. Huskers at the 14-yard line of Miami. Break huddle. Double tight ends. I beg your pardon, it's an I-pro set. The tight end is to the left side. Split end right is Reggie Ball. Flanker left, Abdul Muhammad. Schlesinger and Phillips in the eye to snap to Tommy, and they give him the trap play, and it's Schlesinger inside the 5. And there for the touchdown. He's got the touchdown. It's the touchdown for Corey Schlesinger, and Nebraska takes the lead with 2:46 left to go in the ball game.
Can this be happening? Oh, let's not count these chickens yet. 2:46 to go.
Long snap coming up. Federal will hold it off the snap of Graham. It's down. The kick is up by Sealer. He touched that puppy right through there. And with 2:46 to go, Nebraska leads Miami 24-17, under 3 minutes away from Nebraska and a national championship on New Year's night in Miami, Florida.
As Erstad gets set to kick it away to the Canes, who have only one timeout remaining. But yes, plenty of time to get it done, if they can get it done against this Nebraska defense. Here we go.
Erstad approaches the ball, hits it with the left foot, end over end, sailing off to the left side. Miami's right at the goal line. It's Shipman to the 5. He's to the 10, he's to the 15, and Shipman is down in a heap at the 17-yard line. And Miami comes over the ball. Remember, 1:16 left to go last year at the Orange Bowl. Miami, Florida State goes down the field to win it. Huskers need to play D here. As Costa takes the snap, drops back to throw, passes out there, and it is complete to a diving receiver at the 23-yard line. And the clock continues to run with 2 minutes and 33 seconds, 32-31. The receiver was Marcus Wimberly. The line of scrimmage now will be the 22-yard line. It was a 5-yard pickup, 2nd and 5. And Miami is over the ball on the near side hash mark. Field to the right, the boundary to the left side. Spread set for Miami. Costa underneath center, 4-man front by NU. And Costa, 3-step drop. He's got a man all over him. He eludes the tackler, and now they got him inside the 15-yard line. DeWayne Harris and Terry Keneally all over Frank Costa. Ball squarely in the middle of the field. Nebraska with 4 down linemen, middle linebacker Phil Ellis plugging in the hole on the left side. Playing soft is the secondary. Costa, nobody with him in the backfield, drops back. They got him again. They got him inside the 10-yard line. Dante Jones and Terry Keneally once more. Costa, helped up by his teammates, has one more shot. A minute 39, a minute 38, a minute 37, a minute 36, 35, 34, and 33. One more play by the Black Shirts, and the Huskers have won the national championship, a perfect 13-0 record. And now Nebraska at the line of scrimmage defensively, ready for anything Miami can dish. And Costa in the shotgun, standing at his own 3-yard line. A minute 15, minute 14, minute 13 to go. Costa, nobody with him in the backfield, takes the snap. He's in the end zone. He throws long down the near sideline. It's a jump ball, and it's intercepted! Intercepted by Nebraska! The Huskers have the ball! The Huskers have the football! Nebraska has the football! Kareem Moss, and the national championship is Nebraska's! From the 48-yard line, Tommy down on his right knee. 59, 58, 57 seconds left to go. Miami has no timeouts remaining. Nebraska, 51, 50, 49. Look at the far sideline. These guys are so happy. These fans are so happy. It is impossible to describe the feeling. Well, it isn't either, because each and every one of you know it right now listening. You know it as well as we do here in Miami tonight. Nebraska over the ball, 29, 28 seconds to go from the 47-yard line. Tommy under center. He'll go down on his knee, and we got 21 seconds to go. 20, 19, 18. Nebraska will win the national championship. The Cornhuskers beat Miami 24-17 and win the national title. There's the last second of the game, and it is official. It is history, 13-0, and bring that trophy back to Lincoln. The state of Nebraska, 1.5 million people strong, rallying for decades around an object of, I will say, love. An object called the University of Nebraska football team that, as I said at the beginning of the show, binds us together and fulfills our need to connect. And through a perfect season at 13-0, that feeling has been equaled once more on January 1st, 1995, as we reflect back to the golden years, the Devaney dynasty, the national championships on New Year's night 71 and 72. And the feeling is back. And Nebraskans will never, ever forget this night, just as they have never forgotten the nights of more than 20 years ago.
Perfectly put, an unforgettable night for Husker football fans as Nebraska takes home their first national championship in nearly a quarter century and the first of Tom Osborne's career. That's going to put a wrap on greatest games for the night, and we're also pausing the feature for the time being as we'll start to ramp up toward Husker football this fall. A special thanks to Paul Jacobson for helping make this broadcast possible, and to Mick Steiner for producing tonight. Also a shout out to Brendan Stye, Phil Ellis, and Mark Gilman for their commentary during breaks tonight. Go check them out for one final recap on huskersports.tv.
And Tommy,
He still had a good blow too.
He cuts it inside the 45-yard line, inside the 40. Tommy inside the 35, inside the 30-yard line.
Yeah.
Tommy Frazier to the 32-yard line.
Yeah.
Huge slam. Wow. So, again,
Yeah. Yep.
momentum, right? And Tommy making big plays. You go back to that. Let's watch this here.
What am I doing on the sideline?
Here it comes.
There's the
Didn't even have to block him.
Yeah, didn't have to block him.
Nope. And I think if you watch that play closely, there's really only three guys that get blocked in that play. Backside, okay, Zach cuts, doesn't get his guy on the ground. Joel pulls to trap Warren, doesn't get him on the ground, doesn't even touch him. Aaron blocks back. I head Bob, get up on Ray Lewis, the middle linebacker. Rob comes over to try to ensure that block, and I think Matt Shaw and Abdul Muhammad are the other two guys that maybe cut off and block. It was brilliant, man. It was awesome. And here we go, man. This is a celebration. Let it begin, right?
Here's the thing that stood out to me. What a perfect, or should I let this play go?
Yeah, go for it, yeah. This is just victory. This is just victory.
Oh, okay. So going back to those 2 touchdowns by Corey Schlesinger, if you think about what a perfect example of what Nebraska football was on the offensive side of the ball for so many years, a power trap play by a Nebraska kid who just a typical hard worker, blue collar, lunch pail, 2 perfect Nebraska trap plays, wins the national championship since the 1970 or 71.
Yeah.
But it was the perfect example of what we were all about. 4th quarter trap play, kid from Columbus. Was he from Columbus, Nebraska?
Duncan,
yeah.
Population 7. It was Corey and
yes.
no, but what that was the epitome of what we did on offense. That was perfect.
Yeah, it was. It really was. And then I think the flip side at the end of that game, our defense stepped up big. Not only with Terry Keneally's sack, but also putting the pressure on and forcing Costa in that costly turnover at the end, which really sealed the game for us. It was awesome.
Yeah,
that was a good interception. It was a tip ball, and he stuck with it. So yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was awesome.
As you guys, at the end of that game, I remember just feeling this release of all the pressure built up into that, that national championship game, not only from, us coming back and coming back after a heartbreak of a loss the year before, but also getting back into that situation and playing for the game, the emotions, winning it for Coach Osborne, winning it for each other, just imagining the state of Nebraska and people just going berserk. And then after that game, I think it went on for like 40 minutes. We were celebrating on the field before we got back in the locker room.
I know. I missed the bus back to the hotel.
You did?
Why?
There's like 5 or 6 of us. They left us.
Just left
I think we took a cab home.
Coach Osborne. I mean, he was already up back to game 1 for 1995. I think he probably celebrated 10 minutes, and he's breaking down film of our Michigan State.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go. Get the bus going.
Well, one of the things that I regret after that game was I didn't come back with the team. Zach and I stayed down in Miami to do some. I don't even know what we were doing, but I mean, it was probably the biggest mistake of my life because you guys had the opportunity to come back to a Lincoln where correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, set that up, you guys. I mean, what you experienced at Lincoln Airport all the way in.
That was crazy. I mean, everything the FAA rules were not applying that day. I mean, there was people everywhere in that terminal, which was awesome. And then you get back to the, Bob Devaney Center, and was that? I think it was that this year.
Were the streets lined with people? I heard, like all the way to the Devaney Center, there were people.
It was crazy. It was cold, snow everywhere.
That was the next evening, and I was sitting in my hotel room watching ESPN highlights of Aaron Graham holding up the trophy.
Nice.
Like, oh my gosh!
I flew home. I didn't go to that either, Brandon. I missed it. I flew straight to Montana.
Mm-hmm.
So I regret that. I regret that a lot. So thanks for bringing it up. Good. Yeah.
Hindsight's 20/20, but we should have known a little bit better. I mean, this if we would have won that, expectations were to win, but should have been, hey, the whole state of Nebraska is going to be in and around Lincoln. And that's, I think, just a testament to, this state, this community. It's incredible. Nebraska fans, there's nothing like them, and I played for a few teams in the NFL. Had a lot of teammates from different areas that went to different colleges that, when I talk about the Nebraska experience and being at Memorial Stadium, and back then 76,000 screaming fans, now close to 90,000. Hopefully we get them back in the stadium soon. It's just, there's nothing like it, man. I mean, coming from Montana, Mark, you gotta, I remember in particular telling you, as you were kind of on the edge, you thought you might want to go play basketball again and stop playing football. I said, stick it out, man. You're going to experience something that will be with you the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think there's probably a lot of incoming freshmen, especially when they go, they leave everything they've ever known their whole lives behind them and they go to a new situation. And yeah, I mean, I struggled that first year, kind of asking myself, oh God, can I make it here? Can I make it? Can I do this? And I remember I met Brendan and we started hanging out and doing we lifted weights together. And then we eventually were roommates for 3 years. If it wasn't 4, it was 3 or 4, and you really helped me. You kept me going, and you're right. I'm so glad I stuck it out, because it's some of the best memories, experiences of my entire life. It's wonderful.
I got an experience for it.
Go ahead, Phil. I mean,
my freshman year, going up against Will Shields every day. You talk about quitting. I wanted to quit like every day, but so
you want to transfer to Westland, huh?
Well, I figured out he was Outland Trophy winner, so I'm like, well, if I could kind of hang with him, I'll be all right.
And an All-Pro for how many years in the NFL too? He was one of the best. Yeah.
Talk about the best. I mean, you guys, teammates, the best ever. That's one of the things for me. My memory was obviously the national championship, but the relationships, the camaraderie, the bonding as teammates. I miss it. That's one of the things that I miss the most. And think about that. Kid from Grand Island, a kid from Kalispell, Montana, a kid from Yorkland, California, here sitting talking about an incredible experience 25, 26 years later. And then for you guys to go and do it again, pretty cool, pretty special.
Yeah. Yeah. All these years later, the one of the things that stands out to me, Phil's got his hat on. I got a nice head of hair. I don't understand, Sty. Do you shave it or is that natural?
Oh yeah, no, it's just a one cut, man. Beard to the head. I'm done. It's pretty easy. Like I don't like hair.
That was a sense of pride. Your hair was big to you.
I know.
In the mirror for a while. Don't you ever die.
Oh God. Hey, I just wanted to thank you guys for coming on. It's been great reliving these memories, and I wanted to thank all the Husker fans out there joining Husker Sports Network and the recording, reliving it. I know these are some rough times. We're going to get through it. We're going to be better for it. But everybody, for me, you guys, thank you so much. Let's do it again, right?
Awesome, yeah.
Thanks, Husker fans. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thanks a lot. What a great experience. Really appreciate the opportunity, Brendan. Thank you so much.
You bet. Absolutely.